you, Steve. Welcome, everybody, to North East England. Welcome to Newcastle. Welcome to St James's Park. And what a huge game this is for both Newcastle United and Aston Villa. A victory will take Villa level on points with Manchester City. A win for Newcastle could take them as high as fourth, depending on results elsewhere this afternoon. Both sides, Michael Brown, boosted by their European adventures in midweek. Newcastle securing that place in the Champions League playoff round, and Villa bagging an automatic spot in the Europa League last 16. But both also looking to bounce back from disappointing results last time out in the league. And with things so congested in this race for the top five, the top four, the title, whatever you're aiming for, dropping points again today is something that neither will want to countenance, despite this being such a tough game for both.
Yeah, a really tough game. I was at actually Aston Villa last week. They just didn't perform. Yes, they lost McGinn. Everton done a number on them. Newcastle's form here should be good, but inconsistency on the road. Set up really nicely this game because of the last few weeks of football, as Villa just take the ball confidently. Really looking forward to this game.
Yeah, we're underway here at St James's Park on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Aston Villa in possession, playing in their traditional home kit, the cloud and blue shirts, the white shorts and the light blue socks, as Newcastle steal possession. That toe poke from Johan Wissa. Now falls to Joe Linton just outside the Villa penalty area. Sandro Tonali urged to shoot, works his way into the box, then does shoot, saved by Emi Martinez, and just bounces enough for the Aston Villa goalkeeper to recover and gather at that near post. Oh, was it looped up there, Michael Brown? I think the whole of St James's Park was wondering, had he done enough, Martinez, on that shot from Tonali? Was it going to roll over the line? Agonisingly for Newcastle, it just took the pace off it. Martinez gathers, and we're still goalless.
We mentioned about the midfielders, Tonali getting an opportunity. It's a brilliant run right through the middle, taking on 1-2, and then as he dances his way into the box, it opens up. He tries to slide it into the corner. Emi Martinez steps forward, a great foot. It's a big save early on. What a start that would have been for Newcastle United.
Well, he's one of 5 changes that Villa have made from their victory over Fenerbahce. He missed that game with a calf issue. And what an important role he's played there, Emi Martinez, to deny some brilliant work from Sandro Tonali. So yes, 5 changes from that game for Villa, just 2 from the league defeat by Everton. Jadon Sancho got his first goal for the club in midweek. He starts ahead of the injured captain John McGinn. And Nana's in for Bogard. Liam Bailey as well on the bench after being recalled from that loan at Roma. And there is a rare appearance amongst the subs as well for Harvey Elliott, very much out of favour. He's not played for Villa since the start of October. We'll take you through the Newcastle team news and full lineups in a moment, as Anthony Gordon goes down just inside the Villa half. Free kick to Newcastle, who of course are playing in their black and white shirts, the black shorts and the black socks. So the big news for Newcastle, captain Bruno Guimaraes missing out with an ankle injury. 2 changes in all from the side that drew with Wolves in their last Premier League game. Miley comes in for Guimaraes, and Johan Wissa, who grabbed a goal and an assist on his Champions League debut as they beat PSV 3-0 in midweek, keeps his place in that game, meaning he starts ahead of record signing Nick Voltemada. And as Steve Crossman mentioned just before kick-off, Dan Burn back on the bench after injury. What a boost that is for Newcastle as they give the ball away over on the far side, and Aston Villa pick it up once more, steered back to Ezri Konsa, who will pull it back in turn to Emi Martinez, already called into very much meaningful action, denying Sandro Tonali inside the opening minute here at St James's Park. We played 3 minutes now, and it's Aston Villa coming forward with Emi Buendia looking for Watkins. Controls just outside the penalty area. He's got Chow there with him, so Watkins will just steer it back as Villa continue to build down this right-hand side with Cash. They'll pick it up once more. Morgan Rogers now swings it in, deflected behind. An Aston Villa corner. Really good tempo to this game early stages.
Yeah, good tempo, playing with quick passes forward. And that little give and go down that right-hand side forced that corner. And Newcastle just organising in and around that 6-yard area. Just looking to see what's coming their way. Henry Tielemans just taking the strides over to that corner kick. They're all really forward. Nobody up for Newcastle has allowed Villa to ring that box.
So it will be Tielemans who raises his left arm in the air, swings the ball to the edge of the penalty area. Watkins was there, didn't really get his header right, sails right out of the area, back in by Martson, cleared away by Botman for Newcastle, picked up by Esri Konsa, still up from the back, now played into the area looking for Watkins, but it's over his head and bounces behind. So Newcastle's team, Nick Pope in goal, the back four of Trippier, Chow, Botman and Hall, Miley and Joelinton, and Tonali in the centre, with Barnes and Gordon supporting. Johan Wissa up front, as Wissa was beaten in the air there by Pau Torres on the halfway line. It's nodded forward by Anthony Gordon, cleared away by Matty Cash, and Aston Villa won't manage to retain possession outside the Newcastle penalty area, but they've won it back now. This is a bright start from the visitors as Buendia looks for the curler. It's beaten away by Pope, who will gather at the second attempt. Good chance at Brentford against Nottingham Forest. James Gregg.
Yeah, huge chance in the early embers, Vicky. Super run down the left from Kevin Schade. Whipped left foot cross onto the foot of eager Thiago, who was on the end of it, but at full stretch, a glancing prod wide. Forest count themselves lucky there. Still Brentford 0, Forest 0.
Commentary continues on Sports Extra 2. Newcastle in possession, just outside their own penalty area, as it's picked up by Chow. There's the option of Trippier on this right-hand side, but we'll just slow the play down and try and draw a little bit of the sting from these early Aston Villa attacks. Villa, who have Martinez in goal. The back four of Cash, Konsa, Torres and Martson. Ahead of them, Anana, just back from injury, and Tielemans with Sancho, Rogers and Buendia supporting Watkins up top as Newcastle come down the left-hand side. Here's Anthony Gordon, plays it forward looking for Johan Wissa, who lays it off to 19-year-old Lewis Miley. Out to the right-hand side, cushioned header by Trippier is too far ahead of Harvey Barnes, and all the way through with Emi Martinez. Michael Brown.
Yeah, well worked there. Trippier won't be happy with his little cushioned header, sort of come off square. Well, initially the spread of the pitch was really good as Trippier just recovers, gets a lovely little ball back, and he's under pressure just to make it calm as Tonali just drops down trying to get on the ball again for Newcastle United. But what they're doing straight away, they're sending both the fullbacks really high. Trippier's going right up like a wing back, seeing Lewis Hall on the opposite side, Tonali dropping in between the two centre-backs to start the play-off.
Villa pushing high with Rogers at the other end, but it's well won back by Joelinton, who is making his 250th appearance for Newcastle today, and he's won a free kick just outside the Aston Villa penalty area. And what a milestone for Joelinton. I mean, I remember when he arrived back in 2019, club record signing, 40 million from Hoffenheim, turns up as a forward, didn't do very well in that position, got a lot of stick, then Eddie Howe comes in, converts him to central midfielder, and he does so well that season he wins their Player of the Year.
Steve Bruce will be delighted that you're not giving him any credit. That's a bit harsh, because I know he thinks
True,
it was one of his signings.
At the end of that period where Steve Bruce was there, he was in midfield.
That's for certain, but you know, he's done really well, hasn't he? Great milestone, fantastic player, a bit different at times, he's got a little bit of edge to him, he can cause you problems.
Here go Newcastle, good work down the right-hand side as Barnes into the penalty area, trying to find Wissa. Vital sliding challenge from Mamadou Anana, just back from injury. And it's played over the halfway line as St James's Park roars their side on, and Unai Emery comes out to the edge of his technical area and applauds his team, and he's being told by the fourth official, Rob Jones,
sit down,
don't go
Rob
right
Jones, just sit down. It's a yard, it's a yard in front of the technical area. It's only 3 yards to the pitch.
Yeah, the dugout's very close to the pitch here at St James's Park as Miley whips the ball across the penalty area, but nobody was in there for Newcastle. Ball's out of play for a Newcastle throw. Good chance at Palace against Chelsea. Aaron Paul.
Yeah, first chance of the home side. It is 0-0, but Benoit Badiashile robbed of possession by Ismail Assar, who fed the ball into space with Jean-Philippe Mateta, right side of the area, closing in on goal, drilled it low, down to the keeper's left. Good save by the legs of Robert Sanchez. 0-0.
Commentary continues over on Sports Extra. Newcastle with this throw, which Lewis Hall will take and steers it back to Sandro Tonali, who's had the best chance of the game so far. Very good save by Emi Martinez inside the opening minute as Lewis Hall on the stretch won't receive that return pass. Down by the byline and a play for a Villa goal kick. It's goalless.
Really good start from Newcastle. Unai Emery is trying to rally round to get them to get some tempo, some ball, to calm the situation down, because they've come out as normal. Newcastle relentless, quick, putting pressure on. They try to win it early here. Atmosphere's up, and it was well worked. Set piece, actually short set piece. They brought it back out to Trippier, who plays a diagonal pass. Lewis Hall slides right into that penalty area, and he's telling the keeper off.
Yeah, Emi Martinez took a long time taking that goal kick. Referee Jared Gillett, now as he took it, He's then raised up his hands to Emi Martinez and said, wait, just don't take that. Is he telling him to take it from a different place? Well, that's bizarre. The Newcastle fans were fuming that Emi Martinez was taking so long.
Is it maybe just not on the line?
Just as he took it, I thought he was going to tell him off and maybe book him for time wasting or have a word, but he's just told him to take it from a slightly different place, which he now does. And we play on as Ollie Watkins goes down in a challenge with Sven Botman. He felt that he was backed into there. Jared Gillett says nothing doing, and Newcastle have it over on the far side by Lewis Hall on that left-hand side, forward to Anthony Gordon. And he will look for options towards the halfway line now, finds Sandro Tonali, and back to Lewis Hall once more, who steers it back to Sven Botman. We'll whip it out to this right-hand side. Kieran Trippier right in front of Unai Emery, who ahead of this game, very clear that it has been a horrible last few years for Aston Villa at St James's Park. They haven't won here in the league, in fact, for 17 years. As Johan Wissa picks it up, right-hand side, Harvey Barnes sees that effort deflected behind for a Newcastle corner. But recent results, having not won in their last 17 league visits, I should say, to St James's Park, but recent results have been heavy defeats for Aston Villa, particularly on their last 3 visits. But it's been an even start so far from both sides. Newcastle at the moment in the ascendancy, and they win a corner on this near side. Michael Brown.
Yeah, Pau Torres, great position. Barnes is just darting down the right, trying to fizz it across 6-yard area. Look at the amount of people, almost all the Aston Villa team bar one in the 6-yard area. It's like an Arsenal setup. They're going to come from the back post and flood the front.
So here is Lewis Hall to swing it into the far post. Villa make first contact, and it goes behind, eventually for a goal kick. Now, Villa definitely made first contact. I think it might then have got a touch off a Newcastle player. Second contact, that's what referee Jared Gillett has seen, and it's been given as an Aston Villa goal kick. Well, no, wrong decision. Joe Linton stretches for it as the second contact, but he leaves it just in time. It looked like from our angle, it should have been a Newcastle corner. It's a Villa free kick, Villa goal kick.
Set pieces, Aston Villa one. Aston McPhee is up, trying to orchestrate things. I know one of our co-commentators on BBC, it does annoy him slightly that he's always at the front. I won't name names too much yet, I might do later on.
So Newcastle in possession, out to the left-hand side. That ball to Gordon from Hall, though, is intercepted. Joe Linton trying to win it back, but Villa are bringing it forward with Jadon Sancho, and that's a good ball. And it's fallen to Watkins inside the area, and he's dragged it wide. Really well put off by Chow. Pope made himself big as well. Might have been a deflection on the way through. It's been given as an Aston Villa corner, but that is Villa's best opening of the game, and Watkins denied.
Yeah, I think he could save it, you know. Do you know, his looks, it's a bit of a slip, and then he gets through. Watkins tries to fire it far post. So just going to get another look at it now, because my initial thought was he saves it, and he does. It's a brilliant save. That's 2 now from the goalkeepers. They've been tested early on in this game. He goes to drill it bottom far corner. He stays big, his eyes are focused. The goalkeepers have been on 5 Live all afternoon. They'll have been delighted with the start that them two have had.
Yes, saves it with his feet, Nick Pope. As Aston Villa prepare to take this corner, they take it short. Tielemans to Buendia, and Tielemans has it now, whips it in right-footed. It's a fierce delivery, but too fierce. It just skims off the top of the head of Pau Torres, and out for a Newcastle goal kick. So goalless here, 12 minutes gone, but a goal at Brentford. Which way's it gone? To Brentford or to Forest? James Gregg.
It's gone to the away side. Nottingham Forest lead this game. A delightful finish to fire Forest in front it was too. Igor Jesus with his second of the season. What a stunner. Great work down the right-hand side from Aina. The ball sort of ballooned up into the air. Jesus cushioned it down with 1 foot and then banged it in with his right. Straight past an outstretched Queevy Kelleher. It's Brentford 0, Forest 1.
And commentary continues over on Sports Extra 2. Here's Trippier for Newcastle, just inside the Villa half, in field to Sandro Tonali, and now Malik Chow squares it to Sven Botman. They're still missing some big players, Newcastle, the likes of Fabian Schär, Livramento, and Will Kraft as well. As Ollie Watkins plays it down the right-hand side, Villa coming forward with Sancho. He's crossed into the penalty area as blocks and spins out of play for a Villa throw. Michael Brown.
Yeah, Sancho's trying to get down that far side, but just like Pau Torres before, Botman this occasion, front of that 6-yard area, he tried to fire it across the face. I think it would have went well away because Watkins was late to it. It was just delayed because the counter-attack was quick. Just looking now, let's go short on this wide throw. Can they get the crosses in? Can they get into the box, Aston Villa?
Well, they're looking for options, looking for a bit of movement. Joelinton heads that ball away as it does come into the penalty area. Esri Constable pick it up once more and plays it back to Pau Torres. Newcastle's black and white shirts are deep at the moment. Miley the furthest forward, just trying to put a bit of pressure on Torres. He's done well to find Watkins, who drives from just outside the D, and that's straightforward enough for Nick Pope. All in yellow to bounce down inside his penalty area as Unai Emery, just in front of our commentary position, bounces his way along his technical area. He's not being chased yet by the fourth official, Rob Jones, but he's so animated down there, Unai Emery. Here is Trippier just in front of him, plays it back to Chow, goalless here at St James's Park between Newcastle and Aston Villa. A victory will take Villa level on points with Manchester City again, and 4 points behind Arsenal ahead of their game at the Emirates with Manchester United later. Depending on results elsewhere, a win for Newcastle could take them above Liverpool up into 4th. As Onana picks it up, and again you hear the rumble of frustration around St James's Park as Newcastle cede possession to Aston Villa, and Pau Torres has it now midway through the Villa half. Nice layoff from Emi Buendia, was a little bit short in the end in fact, and Sven Botman launches into a tackle there, timed it perfectly. Harvey Barnes then goes down, nothing doing by referee Jared Gillett, and the ball is out on the left hand side with Emi Buendia trying to jink his way past Lewis Miley. It's given away though, and Miley now has it. 19-year-old sends it out with that green boot suit, Joelinton, and has it back now once more. Miley.
Great start, passing tempo. Unai Emery just below us here in his technical area, well just outside it. The demands, the energy he's showing, he's saying to the players, get tighter, drop back in, recover. He's so agitated because he knows Newcastle United can see you off early. If you're not at it, if you're not recovering, as Gordon pushes it into space. Down
the left wing he goes, Anthony Gordon. It's a brilliant run. He's got past Cash down to the byline, pulls it across, and Pau Torres will clear away. Lewis Hall picks it up and controls nicely on that left-hand side, pressure by Watkins, but Hall still has it. Couple of step-overs into the penalty area, lays it off to Gordon, plays it in, cross-deflected, headed away by Tielemans, falls to Harvey Barnes on the edge of the box, and now Sandro Tonali, 25 yards out. Newcastle still pressing, but that ball given away by Trippier. Villa can't bring it away cleanly first time, but they will do second time. And here's Morgan Rogers over the halfway line. He's only got Watkins ahead of him. He's being pursued by Trippier. Rogers steers it out to the left-hand side, and Ollie Watkins now into the area. Rogers picks it up now, receives that pass from Watkins. He's looking for the angle for the shot. It's very tight, pulls it back across, swiped away by Lewis Hall out of the penalty area and collected by Ian Matson on this left-hand side. It really is end-to-end. The momentum is shifting in this game all the time here at St James's Park. It's still goalless, 16 and a half minutes gone as Villa look to build once more through Tielemans, who will just slow the play down and steer it to Esri Konsa. But again, Newcastle dropping so deep when Villa are having these sustained spells of possession.
Yeah, they're just back in, aren't they? Just saying, well, we're getting our shape. Rogers does very well there, down that sort of left-hand side, and he drifts in, and Trippier recovers. It was him who gave the ball away, actually. A straight run back for him, and then he got sat down as Rogers just spins it into the 6-yard area. But Newcastle United shirts, as you said, recovered. It's great, isn't it? You go, we go, but with real quality, intensity. Tielemans is just probably trying to get a breather. He's probably the one who's slightly different to the rest. But you just can see, can't you now, these 1v1 duels. Matson pushing right up, Barnes is all the way back.
As Aston Villa pick it up with Pau Torres, ball over the top. There's too much on it for Ian Matson. And Chow will watch that behind for a Newcastle goal kick as Johan Wissa just starts to orchestrate things on the halfway line for Newcastle. Interesting call, isn't it? Wissa ahead of Voltemade. He did really well in midweek against PSV Eindhoven. I guess the big question is, they have played together in cup competitions, but strangely, since Wissa returned to fitness and made his debut for Newcastle, they've not played Voltemade and Wissa a single minute in the Premier League together for Newcastle. Is that something that he will turn to at some point in the Premier League?
But you look at the competition, the wider positions though. We've just been talking about Alanga doesn't get in, but with Barnes and Gordon, you know, it's tough. You have to stick to Eddie Howe's system. That's where he's at this moment in time. He'd love to get more on if he can, but they've still been inconsistent. So maybe as they grow into the season a little bit better than where they have been now, we might be able to do it.
Villa in possession midway through the Newcastle half. The big question is who do you shift from that focal point as Emi Buendia goes for goal. What a stunner! Just outside the penalty area, Nick Pope with absolutely no chance. It loops into the back of the net. It is a beauty from Buendia, and Aston Villa, at a ground where they have suffered so much over the years, take the lead at St James's Park. Newcastle 0, Aston Villa 1.
What a goal this is. he's been on that left-hand side, and it's difficult to get him like left of a diamond or inside like of 2 number 10s, but then he just drifts across, and how do you pick him up? And once he gets it out of his feet, 25 yards out, right-hand side of the penalty area, he hits it with like that one you go across poke, but it's got like the dip. It's a bit of a funny hit, like a wobbler that some people say when they're playing it. It sort of wobbles, hits on the top of it, and it just carries and goes right into the far corner. Pope just looks at it, he thinks no chance because it dips back down. Sensational strike into that far corner. What a goal to take the lead.
7th of the season for Emi Buendia as Newcastle get us underway. He has scored some big goals for Villa this season, late winners against Tottenham and Arsenal. And although this has come 18 minutes in, it could be a huge goal for Aston Villa as they look to push as far as they can up this Premier League table and move level on points with Manchester City as Newcastle win a free kick midway through their own half. Michael Brown.
Do you know, I watched Everton go to Villa last week, and I was interested in the setup. Because of a McGinn and a Buendia, they changed everything. You've seen the fullbacks go high up on Newcastle fullbacks, and the wider players drop back into those. And it was funny how they set off, and they couldn't work it out. But then all of a sudden, Everton and David Moyes got it bang on, because there always someone in and around the danger people of Buendia and McGinn. Yes, it changed and McGinn went off, but this is the problem with him. You give him space, this is what he can do to you, and he just drifted away. Nobody close proximity, and that's devastating finish.
There you go, Sandro Tonali might have been pulled back there slightly by Tielemans, but referee Jared Gillett happy to let it go. But again, Newcastle can't retain possession in a good area. And again, you hear the rumbles of frustration around St James's Park as Rodgers does well to hold on to that. Tonali is down for Newcastle. The whistle's gone for a foul on Tielemans, so it's a free kick to Aston Villa on the edge of the centre circle, just inside their own half. Tonali is down about 20 yards away or so in a separate incident, and Jared Gillett has a little bit to sort out here as Harvey Barnes comes over to Eddie Howe. Michael Brown.
Yeah, he was darting through Tonali, and then all of a sudden he goes down. I'm thinking, has he pulled something, has he not? I think it might be a little bit of contact on the edge of his toe, but it's a strange just getting a look, but he's unsure. So when it's things like that, you can sometimes at the top, you get a little stress fracture, just a catch on the top of his foot. He has been kicked on it, hasn't he? Tielemans as well, so we'll see, but it doesn't look great. But the medical staff didn't rush too much, did they? It's almost like, get on with it, come on, let's go.
Would that have been your attitude, Michael Brown? Why would that not surprise me?
I think that he just left me on the floor and said, come on, let's get going. I'll limp for a little bit and then...
Well, he is getting treatment now, Tonali. So Villa leading by a goal to nil thanks to that banger from Emi Buendia. And we have mentioned obviously Newcastle's injury issues. They've got William Asula on the bench as well. That's a positive for them alongside Dan Burn after he's been struggling with an ankle injury. But in terms of Aston Villa, I mean, the key thing for them is the midfield, isn't it? John McGinn out there, still waiting for the prognosis on that injury. Unai Emery saying they'll know in a few days. Boubacar Kamara, though, is expected to miss the rest of the season.
McGinn's didn't look good because just the way it was a strange one actually. You just leave your foot out, and it's just the way you sort of your medial ligament can just sort of pop round. And let's hope, obviously, for a big summer of football, a big ending for Aston Villa, for McGinn, who's been absolutely sensational for that football club. And he'd be a huge miss. And thinking in the midfield, Tonali would also be for this football club. And a little bit concerned here. I'm just seeing now if he's got his boot back on. They had a little bit of a test. He sort of put his toes and seen if there was anything around the ankle or that foot. As I mentioned, he's walking okay now. The danger of something like that, do you know when you get a hit on your foot and you think you hear that, like that feeling, there's a little pop, you just got to be double careful. Got a little bit of a rest, it can sometimes go and be a little bit worse.
Yeah, he's just gingerly testing that right leg, Tonali. He's off the pitch, he's received treatment, he's now walking back towards the halfway line, so it looks as though for now he will continue as he gets a pat on the back from Eddie Howe and as Aston Villa get us back underway with that free kick that they have waited to take outside the centre circle. So Aston Villa leading by a goal to nil here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds as Pau Torres plays the ball out to the left-hand side and Martson in field to Tielemans. It's currently goalless still between Crystal Palace and Chelsea. Nottingham Forest still lead 1-0 at Brentford as Onana scoops the ball forward looking for the run of Ollie Watkins out in the wide right position. He pulls it back to Matty Cash, who's joined the attack. We'll steer it back to Onana once more as Tonali's back on the field now for Newcastle. As Morgan Rogers picks it up right-hand side, rolls it into the penalty area, laid off by Watkins. Cash trying to get the shot away. It's blocked by a combination of Hall and Joe Linton and cleared out of the penalty area. But Onana there with a little bit of a miscontrol, but there was nobody in a black and white shirt near enough to pressure him, so the ball does bobble back to Emi Martinez. Forward over the halfway line from Villa. Chow's there for Newcastle. And Villa pick it up once again. They just can't retain possession at the moment as the ball over the top. Too much on it for Watkins. He did look offside anyway, even though the flag initially stayed down, and Newcastle can try and build from the back once more, trailing by a goal to nil midway through the first half here at St James's Park. Tonali there was clearly pulled back. Advantage played though by Jared Gillett. It's a good one as Miley works it out to this right hand side. Trippier on the overlap. Barnes whips it in, cleared away by Pau Torres in the edge of the 6-yard box. Back out to Harvey Barnes once more, who plays it forward to Trippier, intercepted by Matson. Newcastle throw.
Yeah, really quick. Trippier just changed, go and drive inside Barnes. I'm going to come round the outside. He tries to play it quick, actually. Joelinton desperately trying to make the box. Whistler as well, waiting for the ball. But again, Torres, good area. You go 1v1s.
They've worked it out to the left now, Newcastle. Anthony Gordon's delivery is poor. It's over the bar. It's behind for an Aston Villa goal kick. Where should we go next on 5 Live? Let's head to Crystal Palace against Chelsea. Aaron Paul.
25 gone, Vicky. Crystal Palace 0, Chelsea 0. Couple of half chances for the visitors. Enzo Fernandez and Moises Caicedo both smashing half chances over the crossbar. Palace have actually looked really good, but I'm on Glasner watch, and I tell you what, very animated on the touchline. He says he talks about quite extensively how much he loves this football club. He certainly does. He wants the best of Crystal Palace, and you can see it by what he's doing on the touchline. 0-0.
Thanks, Aaron. Commentary continues over on Sports Extra. Remains Newcastle 0, Aston Villa 1 here at St James's Park as Joe Linton drives forward and Arno went sliding in and won the ball. I think he's injured himself in doing it, and Matty Cash is down as well. So 2 Villa players are down. It's Villa coming forward. Ollie Watkins could be in behind here. The touch was poor and took it into the arms of Nick Pope. Now, does Nick Pope kick the ball out?
Got to. This is not good. Onana especially is rolling around, but what can they do?
Yeah, they both are in pain, and actually Jared Gillett has taken matters into his own hands, the referee. Joe Linton has been booked for the challenge. I guess Newcastle would say, well look, actually Aston Villa, you were in possession with your players down, so you could have kicked it out, but clearly you wanted to spring on Watkins.
I fully understand this, right? But it's behind you, the ball's played forward, they will not see, to be fair to Aston Villa, what's behind them. It's a long diagonal ball. Just getting another look, it's coming together. Oh, it's Joelinton right over the top, and then there's a second one here. And he gets Cash as well. He stays down. It's a double hit from Joelinton. But they then go forward. Watkins just loses that touch. Or imagine that, had 2 players down with a goal-scoring opportunity. He didn't see that. They're going crazy down on the bench. Newcastle manager, assistant manager, asking questions to the 4th. But I think in balance, Newcastle had to put it out. There was nothing they could do.
Well, in the end, they didn't. The Newcastle fans are singing "You're not fit to referee," but Jared Gillett has got to take that into his own hands there, because it's not just about whether it's a head injury. If you think there's potentially a serious injury to a player, then you've got to stop play. And I think you're right, he had to do that once that attack had finished. So just having a look at the replay there. So Onana is still down. Joe Linton catches him with the first one, and Onana is already sliding in trying to retain possession, so his leg is on the ground already, Onana. Joe Linton then does clearly catch him. It's not a good challenge. And then on Matty Cash as well, he's got a yellow card, we presume, for the first one on Onana, but what do we think when we see them in quick succession? Because of course he could have got picked for both. I mean, there's not much on Cash actually from that angle, would you say, or what do you think?
I think he catches both players. I think that's the point of it. He's in his stride, and then from there on it's hard to stop him. He'll say he had no control, he didn't really do anything wrong, he didn't really go committed, there wasn't excessive force, but he certainly left his mark on both players. 1
yellow card, the right decision. Of course, it's not something VAR will look at unless they're going to upgrade a yellow to a red.
He could have got a 7. No, he got a couple there, didn't he? Got a couple of you can hear the fans. I don't think the fans are realising as well that the players were already facing forward, and I think in reflection, no Newcastle wouldn't have stopped there either.
So Onana is up, that's the main thing. He has limped over to the far side. It looks as though he's going to be able to continue. Matty Cash is up to his feet. As we say, it was the first one from Joe Linton that was heavier. So it's a drop ball to Newcastle, just inside their own penalty area. And we will get underway. So Onana waiting to come back on. Villa still lead by a goal to nil. Almost 29 minutes gone here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. As it stands, Aston Villa moving level on points, again with Manchester City and 4 points behind Arsenal. Ahead of their game against Manchester United later, we will have full commentary with John Murray and Matt Upson here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Here's Lewis Hall midway through the Aston Villa half. Onana still waiting to come back on, so Villa temporarily down to 10. Can Newcastle take advantage? Here's Anthony Gordon, comes in field to Lewis Miley, central position, dinks it over the top looking for Trippier. He plays it across first time, cleared away by Pau Torres. Oh, was it Pau Torres? It's gone behind for an Aston Villa goal kick. Must have got a touch on the way through.
No, just having a look whether it ricochets back off him, off the block, whether he's running out of play.
Offside, there we go.
You get a look along the line. It's clear, isn't it? He's asking the question why, but the official says offside flag. You've drifted too far forward, Trippier.
Yes, I needed to lean a little bit further forward there across the press box to try and see the assistant. We are low down here in the stands at St James's Park. The biggest win for us so far, Michael Brown,
is that
Don't say it. That the grey leaden skies above us here have not yet emptied their load of rain upon us, because it is one of these press boxes that if it does rain, you get absolutely soaked. So I've got my umbrella behind me. Solly Watkins challenged just outside the Newcastle penalty area. It's good defending by Lewis Hall, prevents the corner, out for a Villa throw on the far side. And Nana's back on the pitch. Newcastle 0, Aston Villa 1, half an hour gone. As Villa take that throw quickly, here's Onana, steers it back to Ezri Konsa just outside the centre circle, out to the left-hand side, and Torres will pick it up and then field once more to Ezri Konsa, who works it to Amadou Onana.
Do you know what? You've just lit some people up with the commentators praying for a little bit of rain. They know the ones, they know who they are, they've been here before. You're thinking, hope they attempt to go and get wet. It's not very nice, is it?
Emi Martinez clears that ball over the halfway line. Trippier is there, cushions the header forwards to Harvey Barnes, who's dispossessed by Aston Villa's goal scorer Emi Buendia, then does a pirouette as he and Barnes tussle. As Villa play the ball forward, intercepted by Chow, played into midfield by Trippier. Joe Linton on his 250th Newcastle appearance will get there, fouled, but advantage played. It's Miley, ball into the area, cleared away rather awkwardly by Ezri Konsa, got height but not distance. Nods it now once more away. Wissa goes down, a little bit of a high boot there, but it did clear the ball rather than Wissa, and eventually Villa nod it back to Emi Martinez. Wissa, oh gosh, Wissa then bumps into Emi Martinez, who goes down like a sack of spuds.
Tell you what, Wissa must be strong if Emi Martinez is going down like that, rolling around in agony. Or possibly there's not much in it and Emi Martinez is certain engineering the problem. You would guess it would be the latter, as he just gets up and holds the ball. I don't know why he needs to do it. It was just a late one as he picks it up. A little tiny bump. It's embarrassing from the big man.
He's fine, Emi Martinez. Unsurprisingly, he's up. He's ready to take this free kick.
We just had another replay as well, Joe. They're asking for the late tackle from Tillemans on Joe Linton because he got booked. There was nothing in that. Referee got it spot on.
Newcastle have lost possession, but then Botman wins it back from Watkins, and then Rodgers is deemed to have fouled Botman. And Villa had 3 players rushing forward there. That is a big decision by Jared Gillett, because otherwise Villa and Rodgers were in.
Yeah, they were in. He had to play. It was the safest option from Jared Gillett. Trying to go back to front quite quickly here in Newcastle the last few moments. He's got to be careful. They'll counter here, this Villa side.
Yeah, they're coming forward again, just seeing a replay. Looks a little bit soft, that whistle, but it's Rodgers coming forward once more. It's Watkins, struck by Buendia, straight into the arms of Nick Pope. Let's get an update from Brentford. James Gregg.
It's Brentford 0, Forest 1. Forest have looked good for their lead as well, down both flanks and through the middle. Brentford are always comfortable going forwards, but we've not seen that so far this afternoon. Half an hour gone, Brentford 0, Forest 1.
Ball into the penalty area for Villa. It's cleared away by Botman, and Lewis Hall should be able to complete this clearance. He does win a throw. A goal at Palace. Aaron Paul.
I'm telling you, this has been fired in by Esteval in the blink of an eye. Palace 0, Chelsea 1. Lightning quick attack from Chelsea, who are able just to pick up the ball following a mistake from Tyrick Mitchell off the left, and Esteval sprints down the pitch and rockets a left-footed shot past the Palace goalkeeper Dean Henderson. Great finish from Esteval. Chelsea ahead.
Newcastle just cannot keep hold of the ball at the moment. Villa have it again midway through the Newcastle half, out to the left-hand side. Villa still leading by a goal to nil. 33 minutes gone in the first half here at St James's Park as they work it back to the halfway line. So commentary of Palace against Chelsea is over on Sports Extra. Commentary of Brentford against Forest you can find on Sports Extra 2. Just go to the BBC Sounds app, scroll through until you find the relevant station, and we are of course delighted as ever to have your company here at St James's Park on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Newcastle 0, Aston Villa 1, and it's Villa in the ascendancy. They're coming forward again. Watkins into the area, challenged by Trippier. Ricochet back off Trippier, and will go behind for a Newcastle goal kick. But at the moment, Villa on top.
Yeah, slick, quick play inside when Diaz away and into Watkins. His touch is really good. Trippier desperately trying to recover, and he tries to chop it back. Trippier reads it. Ricochet's back off Watkins, and Trippier gets his rewards. Good defending. And again, now they don't want to play short. Newcastle, the wind is just swirling the ball as Pope just tries to hit that goal kick as long as he can. Another foul in the middle from Wissa. Not much, not too great a contact. They play quick again, Villa.
Yeah, free kick taken quickly to Rodgers. They really are on it in the last 10 minutes or so. Aston Villa leading by a goal to nil. Here's Jadon Sancho. Right hand side of the penalty area, cuts the ball in. Botman clears away at the second attempt. Out of play for a Villa throw, and the contingent of Aston Villa fans high in the stands away to our left applaud and roar their support. They like what they're seeing from their side at the moment. Their side who are moving level on points as it stands with Manchester City, just 4 points behind Arsenal, and who lead by a goal to nil with 10 minutes plus added time to go in this first half. Here's Pau Torres, midway through the Newcastle half, the centre half, and now get it back from Maatsen, closed down by Wissa, but dinks it infield to Tielemans, and Onana will pick it up now. The big player he's going to be, just back from injury, and with the absence of Boubacar Kamara as well. As Villa work it nicely between Sancho and Morgan Rodgers. He plays the ball in first time to the area. It's cleared away by Malik Chow just before it reaches Buendia, but picked up once more by Tielemans, and now Maatsen back to Tielemans, 30 yards out, plays the ball into the area, and the deflection is just kind to Villa. Rodgers was rushing in, but Pope got there just ahead of him and springs Anthony Gordon on the left hand side, still inside the Newcastle half. Newcastle 0, Villa 1 here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds as Gordon ran into trouble. Whistle does go, wins a free kick on halfway.
Yeah, Gordon just gets it quickly off Pope, and then he tries to see if there's any space down that line. Monty Cash just having a look, drives him inside, and then great covering. Villa getting some good numbers, good positions. It's a foul, but you know what? It's a good foul. It stops the momentum of Newcastle. You're just watching Villa sit in and wait, and then punch a brilliant counter-attack so quickly. The last few times they've done it really slick. Now it's Newcastle's turn. They've just gone off the boil after a good start. Villa have just got their understanding now. They've got the distances better when Newcastle are on the ball.
That was a lovely ball from Botman though, as Pau Torres brings down Johan Wissa inside the centre circle, and Tonali's over it, takes it quickly, rolls it to Miley. Newcastle 0, Aston Villa 1. As Trippier picks it up on the right hand side. Smiley continues his run, whips the ball in first time, and it's flicked away at that far post by Ezri Konsa. He wasn't quite sure who was behind him. It was actually Matty Cash, but Joelinton was in the vicinity and he couldn't take any chances. Newcastle corner.
There's a great run from midfield actually down that right hand side, where Lewis Miley's been doing that the last few weeks. We know he digs it out, is heading right towards the line, thinking, can he get this in? He digs it really deep. Great ball, takes the goalkeeper out, headed for a set piece, and here we go, that set piece again with all the Newcastle players right on the opposite 6 yard as the ball comes in.
Trippier will swing it into that far post. It's not a back across the 6 yard area. Cash will try and clear it out of the box. Jadon Sancho brings it down for Villa on the edge of the penalty area, and then a lovely touch takes him past Trippier, who slips, and now Tielemans is racing forward and he's trying to release Ian Maatsen, who's the furthest forward. Pope does brilliantly, comes 25 yards out, and with a sliding clearance wins that ball. Lovely nutmeg by Joelinton now on Lewis Miley, and suddenly St James's Park likes what it's seeing. Joelinton very well dispossessed by Amadou Onana. Despite the cries you hear, Michael Brown's given that challenge the big thumbs up. Oh, he timed that perfectly, but given away by Rodgers. Newcastle have it once more. Here's Wissa, and now Trippier midway through the Aston Villa half, and again all of a sudden the momentum is swinging from end to end as Chow, the centre half forward for Newcastle, plays it forward to Trippier. Lovely little drag back and lay off to Chow once more from Trippier, and now Tonali picks it up, central position 30 yards out, lays it off to Chow, and Newcastle can enjoy a little spell of possession as Botman works it out to the left hand side, and Lewis Hall picked up now by Anthony Gordon. Well pressured by Matty Cash. Newcastle 0, Aston Villa 1. 38 minutes gone in this first half here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds as Newcastle have it outside the centre circle. Michael Brown.
Yeah, 2 big moves there. You see the counter-attack from Villa was quick. Here we go again.
That's a lovely ball by Miley Barnes, right-hand side of the area. Martinez watching and claims well. Flag was up anyway. I did lean forward further enough this time. You're a little bit taller than me, Michael Brown, to my right, so you spotted it.
I leant
forward and spotted it.
I don't often get that, to be honest with you. But you know what? Just looking at the last 2 breaks, Tielemans sees Buendia, and then for the 2 tackles, fantastic defensive ones. One was from a goalkeeper. As he sees, he sweeps, as Pope steps forward, a big sliding challenge, then that run right through that middle. Joe Linton heading into great space, and then Onana with a long stretched out foot, sees their danger away. It's brilliant tempo to the game.
Yeah, it's a superbly contested match. Overall, Villa have been on top in this first half, but both sides have had spells. Rogers thinks he's offside there, so he leaves that ball, and Tonali will pick it up. Now will get involved, Rogers. As Trippier has it and steers it to Miley. Villa still leading by a goal to nil as we approach the final 5 minutes in this first half.
He's playing here now, and the pressure's on his back shoulder. Jonathan gets caught, fans don't like it.
Yeah, that has happened too often for Newcastle in this first half. Cheers for Lewis Hall as he wins it back from Ollie Watkins, and now comes forward into the centre circle, out to the left-hand side, and Anthony Gordon. He's got Matty Cash with him, the black and white shirts arriving inside the penalty area as Gordon still has it down to the byline, gets the ball across, but again it's poor, goes out of play, and again you can hear the rumble of frustration around St James's Park. They have been sloppy at times, Newcastle.
Yeah, he does well, innit? But during the last few times he's desperate to go to the line, put the cross in for his attacking players. Well, sometimes you've got to realise, right, next one I'm just going to chop it back. I've done it a couple of times because he obviously feels he can take Cash down the line. He knows he's got the pace of him, so he keeps trying it. Cash desperately trying to recover. Check back, have another look at it. I think the conditions as well. As soon as the ball just flies up, it's just drifting and swirling away.
As Ollie Watkins is tussling with Malik Chow, headed back by Kieran Trippier. Didn't really get enough on that. He was helped up by Botman. It's fallen to Buendia, who's going to drive again, and that flashes a couple of yards wide of that far post. Back to Brentford, James Gregg.
You don't see this too often. 2 injuries for the same side at the same time. Big blows too for Brentford. Chris Auger and Mikkel Damsgaard limping off. Vandenberg and Atara replacing them. The Bees' task has become even more tricky, hasn't it? Still Brentford 0, Forest 1 approaching half-time.
And commentary continues over on Sports Extra 2. Chelsea is still leading 1-0 at Crystal Palace. That's on Sports Extra. Michael Brown.
James has just said you don't see it often. We've seen it in this game. We've seen it in that game. What's next?
But I guess those players didn't come off here, did they?
No.
So a full-on 2 injuries that require subs. But he only had 10 seconds. Here's Anthony Gordon. Ball into the area. It's over the head of Wissa. Maatson won't reach it. Barnes will. Right-hand side of the penalty area. Pulls it back to Kieran Trippier as Newcastle look to level before half-time. Tonali leaves it. It's Joe Linton blocked away by Tielemans on the edge of the box. Morgan Rogers picks it up. He has it snatched away from him by Tonali. Botman picks it up now, joining the attack. Out to the left-hand side, and Anthony Gordon swings the ball in, and the header is brilliantly saved by Emi Martinez. Lewis Miley it was in there, and Martinez at full stretch tips that ball away, and somehow it doesn't go out for the corner either as Villa work it up towards halfway. They look to counter. Nick Pope has it midway through the Newcastle half. What a save from Emi Martinez.
Huge save, fans are up, they keep coming here. Trippier on the overlap. It's a big save, great header.
Here goes Harvey Barnes, just stopping the momentum outside the area as Trippier's ball in is over his head. Pau Torres chests it up and Emi Martinez gathers, and now we can go into that in more detail, Michael Brown.
Yeah, Gordon goes down the left-hand side. It was a great counter-attack. He fizzes the ball across, and then it gets back, another chance, then an in-swinging ball. Miley just beyond that penalty spot, just flicks the header and he's under contact, going right towards that top corner. Emi Martinez, full stretch. It's one for the cameras, but it is a good one as he just pushes it away. Big save now. More controversy as Emi Martinez tries to set off the play. Whether he's moving the ball into different positions, the referee doesn't like it every time he gets it. Fans are going crazy. Here it is, he's not happy. It's a yard, just play. What's he asking?
Before. He is saying,
it's 1 metre though. It's 1 metre, just let him play. Don't listen to the fans.
And the irony being, the first time it happened, the fans are furious that Martinez was delaying, and then as soon as he kicked it, Jared Gillett said, well, actually, no, it was a yard away from where it should have been. I mean, he's literally just outside his own penalty area. you could argue it doesn't matter that much, as Newcastle win the ball just outside their own box and steer it back to Nick Pope. 90 seconds to go in the first half. Aston Villa, through Emi Buendia, still lead by a goal to nil. Here's Morgan Rogers. His touch takes it away from Joe Linton. He's pressured by Botman, who's stepping up from centre half, and Rogers does well. Good strength. He needs an outlet here because he's being pressured by Anthony Gordon, as Tielemans now plays it forwards. That's left, or rather couldn't be controlled by Watkins, and Sancho, who's been quiet, can't reach it either. And Newcastle have it in their own penalty area. Back to Palace against Chelsea. Aaron Paul.
Oh, big chance, the visitors. And I mean, let me tell you, Vicky, this Esteval kid, he has got some engine on him. Chelsea just popping it down the right, over the top of the Palace defence, and they're expecting him to sprint onto it, and that's exactly what he does. Kicks in the turbo, right-hand side of the area, tries to fire a shot across the face of goal. And I tell you what, Dean Henderson was watching as it just flew behind him and away for a goal kick. Another warning sign for Palace. It is Palace 0, Chelsea 1.
Commentary continues over on Sports Extra. So all of those games and this one here at St James's Park approaching half-time. Later this afternoon, Arsenal against Manchester United, 4:30 from the Emirates. We will bring you full commentary as the ball over the top bounces over the head of Harvey Barnes, but he will reach it. Collects it just outside the Villa penalty area and field to Johan Wissa, stabbed away by Villa. Runner will complete the clearance. Watkins is trying to put the pressure on Botman, who does really well. Controls that ball and plays it forward to Tonali as we're into 4 minutes of added time. That's due to the injuries that we've had in this first half. As Newcastle press for the equaliser, here's Kieran Trippier approaching the penalty area, swings the ball in. Joe Linton heads it back across, but couldn't get enough purchase to send it back into the 6-yard box, and it's behind for an Aston Villa goal kick.
Magic wand of a right foot. Trippier, we watched for many years what he can do from those positions. He just puts too much on it. You see the midfield run, can't we, from Joelinton, just trying to get it back across. He just runs away. He's right on the byline, far post. He can't direct it back as he heads it behind the goal. But Eddie Howe, lots to think about. How can his side get back into it? Obviously, he had a good effort there from Lewis Smiley, but overall, I think it's been a good first half, and Villa just look like they can catch you at any point. That is the danger.
Joe Linton goes down inside the centre circle, belatedly wins the free kick for Newcastle. There's Eddie Howe scribbling away on his notepad. He's got one of those fancy pens where you click down all the different colours, and I think he was struggling with the green there because he had to go round a few to continue his note. But his side have a free kick inside the centre circle. They still trail by a goal to nil at home to Aston Villa. Aston Villa, who have not won here in 17 league visits. In terms of years, you have to go back to April 2005 for the last time Villa won in the league at St James's Park, as Emi Buendia, the goal scorer, tries to clear it up towards halfway, and it could break nicely for Villa here, and Watkins is onside. Flag stays down through the legs of Lewis. Hall he goes, he's got Rogers in support. It's Watkins outside the area, but the ball to Sancho was poor. It arrived in support, and Ollie Watkins has his head in his hands because that was a huge opening for Villa, and he didn't make the right choice and couldn't find the right execution as Newcastle come over the halfway line. We've got 2 minutes of added time to play. Newcastle looking for the equaliser before half-time. Here's Miley, has Trippier on the overlap on the right-hand side, picks it up now, Kieran Trippier. Now Joe Linton, just outside the penalty area. Villa back in shape. Trippier has it once again, back in field to Joe Linton. Maatsen went in, Joe Linton goes down a couple of times, then tried to grab the ball, and Jared Gillett's going to let play go on. As Aston Villa break over the halfway line, and Newcastle have to get the black and white shirts back because Villa are surging forward. It's Morgan Rogers into the area, and Chow does well, makes the interception. Villa corner, and now St James's Park roars its displeasure that Joe Linton didn't get a free kick.
That was great defending, wasn't it? Chow just comes across. It was a good counter. I think there was a foul. I think the initial bit was a touch that sent him down, and then there wasn't after that, but the referee decided not to, and the counter-attack was quick. And then it's all about the defensive line, stopping it. Watkins had a couple of opportunities on the overload. This one before was a great counter. The disappointment of the manager, Sancho, the weight of passes, waiting down that right-hand side to get it. What Villa now, right on the end of this first half. Newcastle must keep this out.
Can Villa double their advantage? It's Tielemans' delivery. Pope with stretching, didn't get there, but it sailed all the way behind for a Newcastle goal kick. But yes, as Michael touched on, the attack before the attack that led to that corner for Villa, it was a huge opening for Ollie Watkins. He's had a bit of resurgence that has stalled again very recently. 7 goals for the season, 4 in his last 8 games, but he had that run, didn't he, where he scored for 3 games running.
He just wasn't confident there. Do you know, the reverse pass was on as well. Rodgers had a great run. And then the choices, Newcastle are getting back, but I felt like there had to be more at the end of such a promising attack. You've seen as well, wasn't it? Rodgers had set him off initially. Can Newcastle find something here right at the end of this first half?
Yes, could it prove to be a pivotal moment in this game? The slender lead for Aston Villa, still a 1-0 as Newcastle come forward down the left-hand side. Here's Anthony Gordon, plays the ball into the area, whistles there, and the header is straight into the arms of Emi Martinez, who, as we approach the half-time whistle, and there is the half-time whistle, has made 2 huge saves in this game as well. Boos at half-time, they're more for the officials than for Newcastle, although there has been frustration from the fans at points that Newcastle have given the ball away. Michael Brown, what do we make of that first half?
Yeah, good first half of football. You see Newcastle set off, put the tempo onto Aston Villa, send them on the back foot, and then it was all about the quality. In different areas, you switch off in the Premier League, you give someone some space. Buendia has been playing so well, just finds himself on the opposite side. It's a wonderful strike, so difficult for Pope. We've seen big saves initially, didn't we, early on. Tonali, that wonderful run, Emi Martinez sticking his foot out, and then that Watkins drive across as Pope stays big, sees that one off. So some really big moments in the game. The officials have got a lot of stick, but I will back him on this occasion. I don't think he was far away.
So Aston Villa, 45 minutes away from a bit of history, their first league win here since 2005, but more importantly, what would be a massive 3 points. What can Newcastle do to thwart that in the second half? We will find out. Half-time at St James's Park. It is Newcastle 0, Aston Villa 1.
And in Emi Buendia, Michael Brown, another example of the fact that you don't necessarily have to spend mega bucks to get very effective players. That was a hell of a strike.
It was a great strike, Steve. Do you know, like I mentioned in the commentary about how Everton sort of tried to look after him and McGinn in particular, they changed their system away from home. Do you know, the fullbacks went higher and the wide players come in and tried to look after them, but slightly different from Newcastle. They've got sort of split it, fullbacks really high and wide, Tonali dropping in to make a 3 and they're a little bit stretched, and then on the back of the midfield areas, once he just drops into that space, he pushes it out of his feet, he just goes into somewhere where he hadn't been all game, and then the execution was wonderful. We've seen some big strikes though as well, some big opportunities, big efforts from the goalkeeper, some big saves. We've seen Emi Martinez obviously on the dark side where he's falling over, but I think it's going to be another great half of football, and now can Eddie Howe think about what's needed to get his team back into this.
Newcastle 0, Aston Villa 1. We'll be back for the second half, of course. So Villa, as it stands, going level with Manchester City on 46 points. Chelsea, as it stands, moving into the top 4. Aaron Paul.
Yeah, Palace 0, Chelsea 1. A sublime solo strike from the extremely talented Estevao. As the Blues ahead, there's a poor pass from JD Cambo, sold Tyreek Mitchell short. Estevao opportunistic, able to pick the ball up in his own half, holding off Mitchell, sprinting towards goal. It's a fabulous solo run before absolutely lashing the ball past past Dean Henderson. A sublime strike. The Brazilian has had another sight and goal. Again down the right, getting in round the back, drilling a shot which flew wide at the post with Henderson beaten. Palace have been frustrated in their attacking efforts, although not entirely bad. Jean-Philippe Mateta with their best chance, saved by the feet of Sanchez. Palace hunting for a first win in 7, but they're behind at the interval. Crystal Palace 0, Chelsea 1.
West Ham's big win yesterday meant that Nottingham Forest needed a response at Brentford. Half-time whistle's gone. James Gregg.
It's not quite gone, Steve, actually, but they do lead a 0-0. You're bang right about that. The Europa League disappointment from midweek, and obviously this poor Premier League run that they're on for Sean Dyche's side hasn't lingered. There is the half-time whistle. So they are off, and they are a goal to the good with 45 minutes left. A very agreeable first half, by the way, if you're of a Forest persuasion. They've had the majority of the possession and the play. The goal came from a brilliant bit of work down the right-hand side from Aina, and as the looping ball hung in the air with his back to goal, a sumptuous flick up with the left, and then a finish with the right from Igor Jesus. They've created from all angles, and they've nipped a lot of that Brentford break and brilliance in the bud as well, which is half the battle here, isn't it? They've only lost at the G-Tech once all season, remember, at Brentford. And that rather humbling moment, which saw both Ajer and Damsgaard limp off injured at the same time, has now given Keith Andrews' side a lot to do in the second half to try and wrestle themselves back into this one. It's Brentford 0, Nottingham Forest 1.
So you'll get the second half of that on Sports Extra 2, the second half from Selhurst on 5 Sports Extra, and here on 5 Live, the second half from St James's Park. Coming up next then, we will take you for the first time this afternoon to John Murray and Matt Upson at the Emirates to look ahead to Arsenal-Manchester United. That one's in full at 4:30. We'll also have reaction from the Manchester City women's manager Andre Yeglert. They've gone 9 points clear at the top of the WSL with victory this afternoon, and we'll look ahead to the 2 big games in the Scottish Premiership that get underway in 6 minutes' time: Celtic Hearts and Rangers Dundee. All after the news on 5 Live with Dan Maudsley.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Less than 24 hours after he threw his hat in the ring, the Greater Manchester Mayor, Andy Burnham, has been blocked from standing for Labour in the Gorton and Denton by-election. Sir Keir Starmer is said to be among the 8 members of Labour's National Executive Committee who voted against granting him permission, with the only vote in Mr Burnham's favour coming from Deputy Leader Lucy Powell. The former Shadow Chancellor John McDowell has accused the Prime Minister of cowardice, but the local government secretary Steve Reed defended the decision.
People voted in Greater Manchester overwhelmingly for Andy Burnham to be their mayor 2 years ago for a 4-year term. He's only halfway through. Under the Labour Party rules, any mayor that wants to seek selection for a parliamentary by-election has to get permission first. On this occasion, the NEC has decided against it because it would inconvenience 2 million people who only voted for their mayor 2 years ago, expecting a 4-year term.
The family of a man shot dead by Border Patrol guards in the US city of Minneapolis have called for the truth about his killing. Officials have given conflicting accounts of the killing. Online videos of the incident suggest 37-year-old Alex Pretty, who had a licence to carry, was armed but didn't draw his gun. 86 people have been arrested on suspicion of aggravated trespass after breaching the grounds of Wormwood Scrubs prison in West London. The Metropolitan Police said the group was protesting in support of a Palestine Action prisoner on a hunger strike. And Network Rail says a limited service is now operating in Dawlish after an inspection. A sea wall next to the railway line collapsed yesterday as Storm Ingrid hit the Devon coast.
5 Live Sports.
Don't miss out on a whole world of live sport. With the BBC Sounds app, get access to the biggest sporting moments as they happen on 5 Sports Extra, Sports Extra 2 and Sports Extra 3.
Champion in Paris for the first time.
Scroll through the live radio dial and put yourself at the heart of the action. This is 5 Live Sports with Steve Crossman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Half-times in the Premier League. Newcastle 0, Villa 1, Palace 0, Chelsea 1 and Brentford 0, Nottingham Forest 1. Massive game in the Scottish Premiership about to get underway at Tynecastle. Hearts versus Celtic, first versus second, 6 points between them. Kenny Crawford.
Steve, it's Robert Burns Day here in Scotland when many celebrate the renowned poet's significant body of work. He never seems short of inspiration and drama, and neither has this Scottish Premiership football season. Today, the latest stanza will be penned, and just what will unfold is anyone's guess. Hearts 6 points clear with 16 games remaining. Even the team lines make interesting reading. 43-year-old Craig Gordon preferred in goal to Alexander Schwolow for the hosts, while new signing on loan from Birmingham Mark Leonard goes straight into midfield, which is blighted by injury and suspension. Up front, meanwhile, Burkina Faso forward Landry Kabore has the responsibility of filling Lawrence Shankland's boots. As for Celtic, new Czech striker Thomas Chivanchara, signed on loan from Borussia Mönchengladbach, makes a starting debut. Nigrin and Arojo also come in. Hitati Tuneke and Donovan drop out.
Rangers go into this afternoon's match against 9th place Dundee, level on points with Celtic. They're on a run of 5 straight league wins. Martin Dowden.
Yes, capitalising on events in the capital. The priority for Rangers today, they know Hearts, Celtic or both will drop points. Head coach Danny Rule looking to continue an almost stealth-like creep to the very heart of this title race. Results couldn't be any better. 7 wins in a row in all competitions. 4 changes for them with 2 new signings handed first starts. Those winger Andreas Skov-Olsen and midfielder Tochi Chukwueze. Don't write off Dundee though. They've had a real upturn themselves of late and earned a point here at Ibrox earlier this season.
In the WSL, Bunny Shaw scored the winner for Manchester City as they beat London City Lionesses 2-1 to go 9 points clear at the top of the table. Here's City manager Andre Jeglerts with Samashu.
Well, Andre, many congratulations. What are the emotions after that one?
That's a good question. I would say relief, because there is... it is a tough game. I think we struggle a little bit in the game also. We don't find a way through them. They are defending very well, and they are lethal in the transition. So it's almost like you are nervous a little bit, like we are not breaking the first line, and then there is a transition moment. So that creates a couple of chances for them. But afterwards, also very proud, because I think that this group that we have here, there is a winning mentality that says that no matter what, we will do everything we can. There is no player that is giving up or doing anything like that. They are keep on working all the time and trying to find different ways of creating scoring chances and scoring. And today we found it in the end of the game.
City manager Andre Jeglerts. Other scores, 4 times. Villa 1, Manchester United 4, Leicester 1, West Ham 2 and Liverpool 2, Tottenham 0. Once we're done at St James's Park and Selhurst and the G-Tech, we'll be off to the Emirates. Arsenal, Manchester United in full at 4:30. Your commentary team, Matt Upson and correspondent John Murray. John, so much intrigue about this.
Yes, very much so. And it's almost a completely different match, isn't it, to what it might have been, say, a month ago. So obviously Michael Carrick, having had the dream derby start last weekend, I mean, what a start that is for him in the job. Manchester City at home and then coming away to the Premier League leaders, Arsenal. But I think as well, Arsenal, even though they are going quite serenely along, it is 2 0-0 draws in their last 2 league matches, against Liverpool here and, of course, against Nottingham Forest last weekend. So if they don't win this one, you know what the chatter will be.
Exactly, and Matt, you're the perfect person to ask this to as a centre back.
Oh.
We spoke. What do you mean? You know, have confidence, Matt. Come on, you've got this.
Okay.
If you were in the Manchester United team today, which of these 3 names in the starting lineup would you least like to see? Gyökeres, Havertz, Jesus.
Oh. Well, while Matt thinks about that, I can tell you that there's a non-clue in the fact that Gabriel Jesus is on the front cover of the match programme today after his 2 goals against Inter.
Okay, so that might be a sign.
Well,
John,
have you thought yet?
Well, I have thought. I think it would probably be Jesus.
Right.
Oh, yeah. I think he is in goal-scoring form. Havertz isn't quite there up to speed, and I think he offers a lot, Kai Havertz. And I think Gyökeres, for me personally, while he's a good foil and he'll work hard and he'll run those chances, I think he's a player that you can read and contain maybe a little bit easier than the unpredictability of what a Jesus brings. And I think that's the key in terms of the unknown and the spectacular that he might bring. I think he's more likely to produce that.
And there was a suggestion, wasn't there, in the build-up to this game that Havertz had a little bit of a setback.
Right.
So,
okay, so
maybe it's...
So we'll see, but he's not up to, he's been out a long time,
yeah.
John. So,
however, this time last week, I was thinking maybe Havertz would start this match.
Possibly, we saw him come on at Chelsea, didn't we? Yes, he came on at Chelsea and was building nicely, but still with the time out, you're looking at, I would say, a good 10 matches, at least 5 or 6 of those 90 minutes worth to really find your rhythm. It takes a long time when you've had that kind of layoff.
So there we are, probably Gyökeres.
I'm gone with Jesus. There you go, Steve.
The scary thing, though, Matt, for anyone who isn't an Arsenal fan, is that they haven't had Havertz for the entire season, because it was the reverse fixture opening day when he got the knee injury.
Yeah.
And yet they're 4 points clear at the top, could go back to 7 points clear again this afternoon, and they haven't actually had the person who they would have wanted to start up front for most of the season, which is probably Havertz.
I think you can say that probably.
Yeah.
I would agree with that, and I think that when he's fully fit, you would think that he will come back into the team. But that's the whole kind of thing that Arsenal have done this season, isn't it? They've gone big, they've gone with real depth, and that's just not in the centre-forward position, that's across the whole team. And it's paid off, and Mikel Arteta has used it and he's needed it. And when those players have come in, they've been at the level. I mean, I look at the centre-back position and the players that have come in, your Mosquera, Hincapié, have done brilliantly when they've been called upon, full-backs, all over the pitch, wide attacking players, the rotation there has been managed really well. And I think that was his biggest challenge, Arteta, this year, to be able to manage an elite squad with that kind of quality and depth poses different problems. And I think he's so far managed it really well.
And on United to finish, John, unless there is an injury that I've forgotten off the top of my head, it would be no surprise, would it, if when Vicky Sparks hands to you for a team news blast, you say anything other than Michael Carrick's gone with the same team that beat Manchester City?
I think highly likely. The only thought might be that Mazraoui could potentially come in, but I suspect after the win, it would be the managerial thing to do, wouldn't it, to name an unchanged team?
I'll be very surprised if he makes any changes. And the balance of Mbeumo down the middle and Dorgu and Diallo wide and Fernand, I thought worked really well. I can't see any changes unless they're forced.
Good stuff, guys. Thank you very much. So we'll bring you full commentary with correspondent John Murray and Matt Upson, and Julianne Laurent will be back with us as well for more build-up once we're done with our 3 commentary games ongoing. Crystal Palace 0, Chelsea 1. In fact, the second half has just got underway there. So if you head over to 5 Sports Extra, you'll get second half commentary of that. Brentford 0, Nottingham Forest 1. Still half time there, but the second half will be on Sports Extra 2. We're ready to roll at St James's Park here on 5 Live. Newcastle 0, Villa 1, and Michael Browns with Vicky Sparks.
Thanks very much, Steve. Yes, welcome back to St James's Park, where Aston Villa, leading by a goal to 0, thanks to that beauty from Buendia, are about to get us underway. No changes for either side at half-time, so we'll run you through the lineups in a moment. Villa, who are looking to win in the league here on Tyneside for the first time since 2005. But this is a Newcastle side who've only lost 1 of their last 15 games here in all competitions. Can they find a way to fight back in this second half as Aston Villa launched the ball long downfield looking for Ollie Watkins? They managed to work it and snaffle it into the penalty area, pulled across, and Lewis Hall clears away from almost on the goal line as Emi Buendia tries to latch onto it again. Newcastle will clear away up towards halfway. Well, that was almost the opposite of what happened at the start of the first half, where Newcastle almost scored. This time it was nearly Villa. Newcastle coming down the other end though. Witter inside the penalty area, pulls it to the edge of the box, and Barnes' shot is blocked away by a sliding Amadou Onana, and Morgan Rogers now will bring it forward for Villa. It's a breathless start to this second half, but now Jadon Sancho slows it down, tries to trick his way past Lewis Hall, runs into Hall, and referee Jared Gillett tells him to get up, and Newcastle in possession inside their own half with Pope in goal. The back four of Trippier, Chow, Botman and Hall, Miley and Joelinton and Tonali in the midfield, with Barnes and Gordon supporting Wissa up top. No Bruno Guimaraes, Newcastle's captain, he misses out with an ankle injury as Joelinton has just dinked the ball out of play, and it looks as though Joelinton's got a bit of a problem here. He deliberately played that ball out. He's right in front of Eddie Howe, and he's going to speak to his manager now. But a goal in the Scottish Premiership. Hearts against Celtic at Tynecastle. It's Kenny Crawford.
7 minutes gone, and it's advantage to the visitors. Hearts 0, Celtic 1. Jamie McCart, Phil Benjamin Negrin, and about 20 yards out. The Swedes stepped up and curled into the top right-hand corner, left-footed. Craig Gordon had no chance. Martin O'Neill applauded them from the side. It's Hearts 0, Celtic 1.
Thanks, Kenny. We will keep you right up to date with that game throughout the afternoon here on 5 Live. And goals flying in all over the place. Another one at Selhurst Park. Aaron Paul. We'll be heading to Aaron very shortly. Ooh,
he needs to put his turbos on. He said about the turbos all happening in his game. Why has he not got a turbo, Aaron Paul? I wonder what's happening.
Well, I'm on a cliffhanger.
I know where he'll be.
Listeners, you're on
he'll
a cliffhanger.
Just be getting back to his seat, won't he? He'll have been inside getting a coffee.
Let's talk about Joelinton, who's up to his feet.
He's done his groin adductor on the left-hand side. You see straight away that he's uncomfortable. They're just testing it there, the top left. This will be a big blow, because if something tightens up like that with the games in the week as well, whether it's precaution, whether he feels like he can get him back. but that's a big loss for Newcastle United.
Straight back to Selhurst Park, coming Aaron Paul.
Oh, and I tell you someone else who's got a great turbo, it's João Pedro. This is a fabulous goal from Chelsea. Pedro playing a 1-2 with Caicedo, looks like he gets in towards the box, chops the ball from his right to his left, sitting Cambo down on his backside and drills the ball into the net. It takes a deflection over the legs of Henderson, and Chelsea have a 2-goal advantage now.
Thanks very much, Aaron. Good to have you back with us. So that game continuing over on Sports Extra. Jacob Ramsey has come on for Joelinton. So the first appearance for Ramsey against Aston Villa, his boyhood club, the club he supported since he was a kid, since he left them in the summer for Newcastle. What a big moment for him. What a big game this remains for both of these sides. Newcastle 0, Aston Villa 1. And here he is, Jacob Ramsey, up against his boyhood club. Plays it forwards to Lewis Hall, and now back to Tonali midway through the Aston Villa half, sprays the pass out to the right hand side. Lovely delivery, taken beautifully by Trippier, and now Lewis Miley pulls it back to Chow, who's getting forward from centre half, as is Sven Botman midway through the Villa half, lays it off to Lewis Hall, who works it out to this left hand side, and Anthony Gordon up against Matty Cash, who makes the block, and it spins out for a Newcastle throw deep in Villa territory. Michael Brown.
Yeah, great crossfield pass, Tonali out to that right hand side. I really like Lewis Hall, good feet, he's causing problems, he's taking around that left back position, going to a midfield one to just try and pull people around, just takes that throw in. They had chances to cross it though there, Newcastle, and they didn't. Lewis Miley could have done it.
Here is Ramsey once more, steals it back to Tonali, and now Trippier out to the right hand side. Plays it out once more, but they've given it away, and that's sloppy again from Newcastle, and Buendia plays it forward, and that's sloppy from Villa, far too much on it for Ollie Watkins. So let's take you through the Villa lineup. Martinez in goal, the back four of Cash, Konsa, Torres and Mutz, and ahead of them Onana and Tielemans, with Sancho, Rodgers and Buendia, the goal scorer, supporting Watkins up top. We have played almost 5 minutes in the second half as Newcastle come forward. That's a brilliant ball by Jacob Ramsey. It's Witter inside the area, tried to chop back and get the shooting angle, but can't get the shot away, and in the end is dispossessed, and that's a squandered opportunity. Hall's won it back. Sancho wants a free kick for Villa. It's not happening. Out to the right hand side go Newcastle, and Harvey Barnes strikes from the edge of the area, and that is narrowly wide. They're claiming a deflection, and it did get one. Sailed over the bar. It's a Newcastle corner.
Yeah, Buendia getting in front of it. The lines are all there, Tielemans as well, just deflecting it, almost drops in actually. Whereas it's swept across the pitch, and then they come in, show really direct play, don't they? Newcastle United's Barnes gets it. Now set piece opportunity, Trippier, great quality, can he be pinpoint?
And again, they're packing that area beyond the far post. Newcastle's black and white shirts lining up as the ball is swung there and claimed by the long grasp of Emi Martinez, who again is bumped into by Johan Wissa, goes down, advantage played. Here's Tielemans bursting over the halfway line, out to the right hand side. Well, Jacob Ramsey just about got there. It wasn't the best ball. Ramsey then fell over but managed to retain possession for Newcastle and work it out to the right hand side, and Lewis Hall.
Two massive chances for Villa on the counter. Buendia into Watkins when Trippier had made the mistake, he didn't catch it right, and then another one there, short pass from Tielemans as Sancho's getting down the right.
And here goes Anthony Gordon, plays it to the edge of the area. It's Jacob Ramsey, it's intercepted by Emi Buendia and will be picked up again once more by Gordon, left hand side. But Ramsey's played some really pinpoint passes since coming on.
Yeah, good pass. He'll be desperate to try and get anywhere near the box. You watch on build up, he'll be making it. There he is now, just on the edge of the area, drifting in. Not only will he want to set the tone, he'll be trying to get a goal.
Yeah, I'm sure it would be a real swell of emotion for him if he did, of course, scoring for his new club, but against the club he's been a fan of ever since he was a boy. First time he's come up against his former club, but he's done well so far since coming off the bench as Lewis Miley sees that ball roll out of play, goes out of play for a throw to Aston Villa. Newcastle's fans aren't happy, they feel there was potentially a foul in there. But it is a throw to Villa over on the far side. Newcastle 0, Aston Villa 1, 7 minutes gone in this second half. So elsewhere in the Premier League's 2 o'clock kickoffs, Chelsea leading by 2-0 at Crystal Palace. That's over on Sports Extra. Forest are 1-0 up away to Brentford. That's on Sports Extra 2. And Arsenal against Manchester United coming up at 4:30 with John Murray and Matt Upson. Harvey Barnes there has made a bit of an error. He was racing down the right-hand side. He was in a really good position, and he has just pushed Maatsen. That's why the whistle's gone. It's a free kick to Villa. Didn't look as though that was really necessary there, because he still looked in control of the situation, Barnes.
It was a strange one. He's sort of left the ball. He's pushed him away, getting a little bit tight. But you don't often see that, do you? He's never going to get away with it, and you don't know what was really coming into his mind to even think he could. Again, referee being really pedantic about where the ball's from. Just let's get playing end to end. This is what it's about. Keep the tempo of this game going if you can. The officials play a key role in that.
Yeah, it's back with Martinez eventually, who launches it forward looking for Watkins into the penalty area, tussling with Botman, and he's just lost concentration there, Ollie Watkins, and Botman will clear away. Jacob Ramsey under a bit of pressure from Jadon Sancho. Works it to Lewis Hall and out to this left-hand side, and Anthony Gordon, he's still midway inside his own half. Newcastle 0, Aston Villa 1, here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Villa, as it stands, going level on points with Manchester City and 4 points behind leaders Arsenal, ahead of that game with Manchester United later. As Newcastle in possession, midway through their own half, Lewis Miley steers it forward to Sandro Tonali, who works it out to Johan Wissa on this right-hand side. You wonder at what point Eddie Howe might turn to his bench, to his record signing Nick Voltemade. As Botman has it on the halfway line, plays it forward to Lewis Hall and then back to Botman once more. As Harvey Barnes waits for it out on that right hand side. It was almost works nicely, and in the end it's fitted by Trippier, and it's missed at the far post by Anthony Gordon. Barnes had made his way into the centre, he couldn't get on the end of it. Gordon could. It was a difficult chance. He was on the stretch as that ball fizzed in just past the far post, and he steers it behind for an Aston Villa goal kick.
Yeah, it was tight across the line. It was a great ball in. Wendia just gets caught napping, and then the delivery is really good, right across the face from Trippier, Barnes, and then Gordon back post, almost getting a touch each, but it was just outstretched. It was just too good. It's a shame, really. Great counter, and then the forward pass from Miley was the one that caught inside Villa's defensive line.
Long ball over the top, looking for Jadon Sancho. The boozer for Martinez, delaying over that goal kick. So it's cleared away by Sven Botman. 10 minutes gone in this second half, and it's Villa who still lead by a goal to nil as Konsa cushions the header back to Emi Martinez, who does love to be the villain of the piece, doesn't he?
I'm surprised how he falls over. He got caught before. When he went to throw it, we didn't comment on it. So there's the one at the end of the first half where Wissa just nudged him. He fell down on the side of his hip. And then someone just sort of got close to the top of his head as he was throwing the ball out for the quick counter. He sort of went to dive again. I mean, he doesn't need to, does he?
When it's chilly, maybe he's just keeping himself warm, moving about a bit. Here's Rodgers outside the area, goes for the curler, and Pope didn't cover himself in glory there. He did save it, but he spilled it. It will be picked up by Lewis Hall on this left-hand side and cleared up towards halfway. They've got away with that one there, Newcastle. It wasn't strong hands from Pope there as it's all the way back with Emi Martinez, but he keeps the ball out, just about, as Villa come forward once again. And then over the top of Emi Buendia.
You can't give that decision.
Coast Malik
Buendia can't do anything about that.
Yeah, free kick Newcastle.
I think it's the other way. Honestly, I really do. Just going back to that effort there on Pope. Good strike, out of his feet, Rodgers. But if you watch it dip just in front, and I think that's the only reason I think Pope goes, you know what, I'm going to push this, rather than just maybe collect it. I'm not sure. It didn't look great, but I just feel there's a little bit of a dip, a bit of a wind condition, and he thought, you know what, I'm going to be safe.
Yeah, good spot, Michael. It is still challenging conditions, although I'm going to say it again, the rain for now is holding off, although I'm not sure how. We've got the wonderful pitch in front of us, then the blazing floodlights, and then you look above and the sky is almost black. At some point those rain clouds are going to dump their water.
I told
on
you, as soon as I said it about the rain, I got the message straight away. You know who the culprit is, Ian Dennis, who comes up here quite a lot, just said, hope you don't get wet. Well, they're always listening, aren't they? You've got to be careful.
Out to the right-hand side go Newcastle. Here's Trippier, chops it back to Harvey Barnes just outside the penalty area. Newcastle still trailing by a goal to nil as Chow swings the ball in, comes all the way across the box to Tonali, left-hand side of the area now as Lewis Hall will send it back in to that far post, flicked away by Maatsen. He knew there were black and white shirts behind him. Newcastle corner, far side.
An opportunity now for Newcastle. Lewis Hall darting right the way across. He's just going to try and fizz this in. The atmosphere is getting up. They need a goal. Right behind you, don't they, these fans here in this stadium? Can the delivery be good? Can they You can see the organisation now. Villa bench desperately trying to change things as Bailey is just getting stripped down below us.
Yeah, that's a story in itself as Lewis Hall swings the ball in, punched away by Emi Martinez, stab back towards goal by Jacob Ramsey, but it will drop a few yards wide of that post for an Aston Villa goal kick. So, Arsenal against Manchester United coming up at 4:30 from the Emirates. John Murray has the team news.
And starting up front for Arsenal, it is Gabriel Jesus with Gyökeres a substitute. So Arsenal make 4 changes from their last league starting lineup against Forest last weekend. So Jesus coming in to that team. Saka, Hincapié is fit, and Trossard as well, with Gyökeres, Martinelli, Madueke and White all substitutes. There is no Kai Havertz not involved, not a substitute. And Manchester United, Vicky, just as Steve Crossman suggested, I was going to say to you, are unchanged from the starting lineup for the derby, and Mazraoui is among the substitutes.
Thank you very much, John. John will bring us full commentary on 5 Live and BBC Sounds with Matt Upson from the Emirates, 4:30. Aston Villa have made a change as well. Jadon Sancho is off, and Leon Bailey, who was recalled from his loan at Roma this week, is on as Newcastle slide it forward to Wissa inside the area. Brilliant sliding block by Ezri Konsa as Wissa let fly. Gordon sends it back in. It's kneed away by Villa, only as far as Tonali. Blocked again as that shot came in, and the second time on the edge of the area. And Leon Bailey with the ball, wins the ball with his head. His first touch as a substitute, but can't release Watkins. And here comes Jacob Ramsey for Newcastle, midway through the Villa half, and the tempo once again has risen here on Tyneside as the frustration once again rises as Newcastle give it away and then they win it back. Here's Lewis Miley, plays the ball towards the area, blocked away by Tielemans, throw to Newcastle far side. Newcastle 0, Villa 1, an hour gone.
Yeah, we've seen a good sliding pass, and it was just as Wissa was going to get a shot away. We haven't mentioned him much. Konsa just doing his job, getting in the right positions, nice and relaxed, just really quality defending, and the counter-attack coming again. So a couple of blocks, Tonali on the edge trying to get shots away. Newcastle have upped the tempo.
A nice layoff down that right hand side, but well intercepted by Tielemans. Newcastle on top at the moment, looking for this equaliser against Aston Villa, who haven't won here in the league since 2005. But at the moment, as it stands, are set to go level on points once again with Manchester City as Newcastle had the ball on halfway. Michael Brown.
Walter Mardé as well. It looks like it was just getting a little brief of him just sort of standing in the technical area. Can't be 100% sure, but it's edging towards that. Newcastle now are controlling it, moving it around, but can they gain something from it? Villa pinch it again.
So free kick has gone the way of Aston Villa. Penalty at Crystal Palace, Aaron Paul.
Enzo Fernandez has the ball on the spot, but it's all about the build-up in this one. Darren England taking an age to make a decision. Basically what happened was a cross was popped in from the far side. Henderson, he flapped at it, it fell for João Pedro, who shot towards goal. JD Cambo blocking it with his hand. We must have played about 40-45 seconds, and then the referee Darren England goes over to the monitor, halts the game, goes over to the monitor, takes an age, says it's a penalty, an accidental handball. The Palace fans start applauding. He goes, therefore, it is a penalty, but just a yellow card and not a red, as Enzo Fernandez smashes the ball. It's such an easy penalty from Enzo Fernandez. He's just placed it to the left of the goalkeeper. Palace look bereft. I am absolutely baffled by this. Dean Henderson's trotting back towards the halfway line. Palace look shot to pieces here. They've imploded fully in the second half. Chelsea 3-0 up. The VAR decision has sucked the life out of this game. But Palace, my word, they are in trouble. Crystal Palace 0, Chelsea 3.
Tielemans ball into the area, flicked across by Pau Torres. Ollie Watkins will pick it up for Villa. Has it gone out of play? The offside flag is up again. And it will be a free kick to Newcastle. So much has happened while we've been away with Aaron. Essentially, Villa took that free kick very quickly, and Leon Bailey, in on goal, was only denied by a superb block by Malik Chow. Then they had a corner, a couple of balls in. Eventually, it didn't come to anything. Nick Voltemada is coming on, as is Anthony Elanga, and Anthony Gordon, and Yohan Wissa are the players making way. So, Michael Brown, take your pick.
Well, you're just looking at that now. Elanga, he's got that pace, that quality down the wide areas. Anthony Gordon's tried. He's got to do something, hasn't he? When you've got different players, options on the bench that Eddie Howe has, Walter Mardé, he'll be looking for crosses. For being a bit more direct, you can change the angle of approach, can't you, with him at the top. Whisser just making way. It's a poor pass there from Miley. Unfortunately, I didn't see what he wanted to do. And here he is now, Voltemade chasing down the goalkeeper.
As Tonali heads it forward, Voltemade's offside, and that will roll all the way through to Emi Martinez. So still no action together in the Premier League for Wissa and Voltemade. Of course, it would require either changing system or probably pulling Wissa out wide. But Eddie Howe persisting with one or the other at the moment in the league, as Aston Villa almost win possession inside their own half, and we'll pick it up over on that left-hand side, just inside the Newcastle half now with Ian Matson. I want to come back to you on that chance for Bailey as well, because it was huge, and his story is interesting. But let's just see how Villa work this out to the right-hand side. Here's Matty Cash, plays it forward now to Leon Bailey, who's taking on Lewis Hall and trying to ease in down the inside, fills it in with a little bit too much pace to Morgan Rogers, and Newcastle will bring it away. Here's Jacob Ramsey out to the right-hand side. They go and work it towards the penalty area. It's Anthony Elanga. He's done well, got past Matson, but did he just take too much on that? Yes, he did. He can't keep it in. And it's an Aston Villa goal kick. So, approaching the midway point of the second half, Newcastle 0, Aston Villa 1. Let's just go back to that chance for Leon Bailey, because it was huge, wasn't it? Yeah,
they took it really quick down that right-hand side, and Bailey was away. He's hardly touched the ball. But what he does, and you can see as well, when you've not played for the team for a while, he tries to open his left foot down the right-hand side to curl it. But it was a good block. I never felt like it looked like it had the power. A good recovery. I think just take it on. And then we've just seen Elanga down that right-hand side use that pace. He pushed it right at the byline, but it was too much. If I'm Matson, I'm thinking, I don't fancy that. But again, that's exactly what they want. Trippier pushing it into spaces, trying to get the attacks away. Good pressing here from Villa.
Newcastle play round it well. Here's Jacob Ramsey out to the left-hand side, and Harvey Barnes right in front of Unai Emery. Dispossessed by Matty Cash, but Jared Gillett says that is a free kick to Newcastle just inside the Villa half. Let's head for an update from Ibrox. Rangers against Dundee. Martin Dowden.
Rangers 0, Dundee 0. Delays the story so far at Ibrox. The VAR comms kit malfunctioned. We've had a pitch invasion. A close to a dream debut for Tochi Chukwueze, bundled home for Rangers, but was just offside, goalless at Ibrox.
And here at St James's Park, it is still Newcastle 0, Aston Villa 1, midway point of the second half, as Chow comes down the right-hand side looking for the run of Elanga. That's going to be a good battle between him and Matson. You can tell that even in these early stages of Elanga coming off the bench. That time it's the Newcastle man who wins the throw over on the far side, and he will leave it for Kieran Trippier, and the height is forward from the back. They've sent forward Malik Chow from centre half. Sven Botman is coming up as well. Of course, the 6'6" figure of Nick Voltemade, the club record signing, but instead Trippier goes short to Miley and then works back as Newcastle will find Lewis Hall, central position, midway through the Aston Villa half, ball into the area looking for the runner Botman, who does flick it forward, but into the arms of Emi Martinez.
Yeah, it's a good ball in, flicks it in. You just see he's just holding off his opponent, he just heads it down. It's just a sloppy pass there for Bailey.
Yeah, really poor from Leon Bailey, and Newcastle coming forward again. Harvey Barnes out to the left-hand side. Lewis Hall plays the ball in. Elanga was there. It's a good header by Matson, and Emi Martinez will come and claim. But it's disappointing from Bailey because obviously it put Villa under pressure, but also Botman and Chow, the centre halves, were in Villa's own penalty area. That was a huge chance to counter for Villa.
Yeah, big chance. Just looking here now as Botman just tries to get on hold of it. Great touch, look at that.
Emi Buendia, beautiful play once again. His goal the difference at the moment. Villa have led since the 18th minute, looking to win in the league here for the first time since 2005 and go level on points with Manchester City. They lead by a goal to nil, and they have the ball left hand side of the penalty area as Martin will work it back to Pau Torres. And they're just slowing the play down, Aston Villa. They have not sparkled in this second half quite as much as they did at times in the first. And they've given the ball away again, and Nana can't win it back, and here goes Voltemade. He's got Elanga ahead of him. That's a brilliant challenge by Mamadou Onana. Goes to ground. It eventually breaks to Lewis Miley, but he stopped the momentum of the Newcastle counter. But Miley is picking it up again. Tillemans is there. Miley cuts and field into the area, dinks the ball across, cleared away by Matty Cash. Leon Bailey's there on the edge of the box. They're appealing for a handball as he was put under pressure by Lewis Hall. Don't think Jared Gillett could have seen that because both players' backs were to him. VAR, I'm sure, will be having a look. But Newcastle have got it back again. This is a really good spell for the home side. Here's Jacob Ramsey. Lewis Hall trying to pick it up, and Bailey does well. Gets a toe on that ball. Goes out of play for a Newcastle throw.
See how hard he's trying, Bailey, to do well. Do you know, like he's over trying, isn't he? Do you know, the last few chances he's gone through, and then he's just not relaxed. He's done that little challenge there. The passing inside that he lost, and he's just trying to do well.
Here goes Jacob Ramsey. He's given that ball away. Rodgers has gone down in trying to win that ball, but we're playing on. Aston Villa over the halfway line. Little push in the back of Tielemans. Was there? Referee Jared Gillett says no. Well, it did look like a foul by Lewis Miley. Rodgers is still down, and this time Jared Gillett is not stopping play. And Rodgers had a look, thought about getting up, and has sat back down again as Newcastle come forward. Ball into the area. It's headed away by Pau Torres. Villa have 2 players down, in fact. Now it's a corner to Newcastle, and now referee Jared Gillett will stop play.
And you know what's going to be said? Why didn't you stop? Why didn't you put the ball out? But it's Rodgers initially. He's hurt himself. It's a little bit of a collision. And then we've just seen Tielemans as well. Both of them down. Newcastle then had the choice. Decided to go forward. I think Ramsey just catches him late on the edge of his toe, is it? A look, and then the breakaway's on. And Tielemans just pushed to the floor. I'm not sure why he's caught so much, but good recovery run, wasn't it, by Lewis Miley as he's heading towards the goal. I don't know where he's hurt himself, to be honest.
Well, Newcastle have a corner. It does look like it was a clear foul on Tielemans, but it wasn't given. Tielemans is up to his feet. He's limping forward. Rodgers is as well. Similar incident to the first half, where the referee allowed the attack to play out and then stopped play. Well, play stopped, didn't it? Because it went out.
He was waiting for him to get back in. This is the problem now for Tielemans to jog all the way back in. He's not had treatment. He's back in. He's limping in a heavy way, really.
So, Tielemans on his own 6-yard line, corner to Newcastle as they look to equalise. It's swung in high, there's so many players in there, headed away by Nana, back in by Tonali, and that header drops a few yards wide of Emi Martinez's post. Now Villa have a player down inside their own penalty area. Jared Gillett says to the medical staff, well, if you want to come on, then you can do. They're preparing changes as well. Luca Digne and Tyrone Mings are going to come on. Unai Emery deep in conversation with Tyrone Mings. So let's head back to Tynecastle. Hearts against Celtic. Kenny Crawford.
30 minutes on the clock. It's still Hearts 0, Celtic 1. That Benjamin Negron goal is 13th of the season. A sublime set-piece free kick into the top right-hand corner. That's what separates the sides. But Hearts have done well to try and get back into things. They had a Claudio Braga shot, which Kasper Schmeichel saved, and then Landry Kabore, the other striker, had a shot go wide. So it's still Hearts 0, Celtic 1.
A red card at Selhurst Park. Aaron Paul.
Palace 0, Chelsea 3. When it rains, it pours. Adam Wharton has been sent off for sliding in on Moses Caicedo, and he has no arguments to that. Shown a second yellow card. He trudges down the tunnel with Palace 3-0 down to Chelsea.
And the rain has poured all over my team sheet here. I'm just trying to jot that down. That Wharton's been sent off. And I've just about managed to do it with my pen, making a real mess. So that commentary continues over on Sports Extra. Let's head to Brentford against Nottingham Forest. James Gray.
Brentford 0, Nottingham Forest 1. Lively second half so far. Brentford are trying to get the ball up more to that 16-goal man, Igor Thiago. He always poses a threat, doesn't he? But he's been quiet in this match so far. Forest just trying to grapple control of this second period. They still lead 1-0 at the G-Tech.
Commentary continues over on Sports Extra 2, and let's head back to Scotland. Rangers against Dundee. Martin Dowden.
Rangers 0, Dundee 0. Fairly even this. Dundee look a threat. No shots on target for Rangers. They're not playing scintillating football again here, but they've been doing that and getting results. Another required in this title fight. Still 0-0 at Ibrox. And
you're up to date here on 5 Live. Arsenal against Manchester United to come at 4:30. So, Youri Tielemans was the player down in the box for Villa. After treatment, he's back up to his feet and walking back to the halfway line. Mings and Digne are going to come on. I think Villa are just checking to see if Tielemans is going to be able to continue. Of course, they don't have Boubacar Kamara. They don't have John McGinn because of injury. Ross Barkley still out as well. So, Tielemans temporarily off. They haven't made this double change yet, Villa. Emi Martinez has sent the ball over the halfway line with 90 minutes to play. It is still Newcastle 0, Villa 1, and Leon Bailey has the ball down this right-hand side, lays it off to Ollie Watkins, plays it back once more to Matty Cash as Villa work it all the way back to Isri Konsa, who steers it back to Emi Martinez, and he will look to go long over the halfway line, looking for the run of Ollie Watkins, who's pressured by Sven Botman. Just trying to spot where Tielemans is. He's actually sat down over on that far side.
Really good play that, wasn't it? By Emi Martinez. One drop short, and then Ollie Watkins just takes the pressure off as a striker. He's just floating it into the space. He's waiting. He knows there's contact coming, gets his body in, and waits. There's quite a lot of action here. There might be 3 substitutions now for Villa. Tielemans has got a big limp. I think as he catches him down the end of his shin, his ankle might have just rocked slightly. He's limping in a big way, but it doesn't look like he's going to be able to carry on.
Yeah, Lamar Bogard is stripped and ready, and Tielemans, having walked to the halfway line, is now walking back around the pitch. So another central midfield injury for Aston Villa. That's the last thing they need at the moment. And another big player is making his way off the pitch, and that has happened too often for them in recent weeks. As Tonali plays the ball forward, it's chested down by Mutson. Villa still leading by 1-0. And they're waiting to make this triple sub as Botman picks it up for Newcastle midway through his own half.
Do you know what? We normally get a little bit of a line, don't we, when we know that there's going to be a substitution to make, but he doesn't know what to do because he's unsure if Tielemans was going to carry on, what his next position is, who can go where.
Here goes Harvey Barnes down the left-hand side, approaching the penalty area, tries to lay it off to Lewis Hall, who joined the attack, but Leon Bailey has it. Needs to get rid of it, Leon Bailey. He's under pressure down by the byline. Got an option now to steer it to Cash, and does do so, but Cash plays it straight out of play.
Really good run it by Bailey.
Yeah.
Really composed in an area that you're thinking, what's he doing there? And he's these substitutions now. We're going to see how it affects it. See if he's got to change it slightly. The middle of the pitch is obviously a concern. What does he do with Luca Digne when he comes on? Where's he going to sit him? We'll get a little look now as the commentator with 3 substitutions all at once.
Right, here we go. So Pau Torres is off, Tyrone Mings is on, Luca Digne is coming on for the goal scorer Emi Buendia, and Yuri Tielemans, as we say, who's picked up that injury, is replaced by Lamar Bogard. So they were going to make the double change. The triple change has been enforced because of Tielemans' injury. How did I do?
Yeah, excellent. Just perfect one. Luca Digne now can just whether he just slots in. Yeah, he's naturally going to go at left back, and we're going to see Matson make that move further forward in front. Natural one in the middle of the pitch. Bogard just goes and jumps in there, doesn't he? He sits in, and Mings gets that opportunity, starts orchestrating that defensive line in the middle, slots to the long Konza. He's been there a long time, hasn't he? He knows the ropes, but hasn't been playing so much.
Yeah, recently back from injury, Tyrone Mings made his comeback in the last game, and will be picked up for Newcastle now by Sven Botman as the rain is getting a little heavier. I'm going to lean over my notes, not reaching for the umbrella yet as Newcastle come forward. Miley's ball into the area, and Emi Martinez, who has claimed crosses very well today, does so again, diving down to the ground on the edge of his 6-yard box. Newcastle 0, Aston Villa 1, 15 minutes plus added time to play.
Yeah, they work it really well out into the wider positions, run off the shoulder, great ball across the face. It's a tough one for the goalkeeper. He takes it well, actually, under pressure, doesn't spill it. He's got a good left foot here, he can deliver. The two of them should be able to push Newcastle back down that wide left area for Aston Villa.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how front-footed they'll be. Obviously, Buendia's a front-footed player as well, but Matson now loving to get forward. Digne, as we know, likes to do that as well, because they just need a little bit of a momentum shift in this second half, Villa. They might get it here with Rodgers outside the area. He's stolen it all, tumbles right on the edge of the box. Jared Gillett says nothing doing. The Villa fans high away to our left are screaming, but Newcastle are countering, and now St James's Park raises its voice. Here's Alanga driving towards the area. Little deflection means that Cash can clear that ball into the box. Miley heads it back forward. Anana underneath it, sends it away, and will be picked up by Morgan Rodgers, but he's dispossessed by Tonali as Newcastle work it down the left-hand side. Infield they go now to Lewis Miley, looking for this equaliser, as they have been doing since the 18th minute, as Trippier stabs it forward, collected by Alanga over on that far right-hand side, and works back to Trippier once more, and Villa back in position, but Newcastle still in possession. Here's Alanga, ball into the area, Voltemada's there, great defensive header by Konsa. He's saying he got pushed in the back by Voltemada. Jarrett Gillett unsympathetic. It's a Newcastle corner.
He did get a little bit of a push, but you know what, really good defending, great quality. Just having a little look at the Rodgers one on the edge, I think he's already heading down, and I think, you know, we'll see some contact. Well, look, Ramsey just comes in tight, there's a little bit of a trip, but is he heading there already? That's what the referee thought.
And positionally as well, it was almost outside the box. Was it on the line? VAR basically happy to let it go. So Newcastle corner from this near side. So they push for this equaliser. It's to the far post again, and Emi Martinez gathers at the second attempt. He got two big hands on it. Then, well, I'll tell you what's happened here.
Here we go.
He's bumped into the post, hasn't he, as he's claimed it. He's kind of gathered at the second attempt, although the ball never really left his grasp, but he had to readjust his grasp on it to make sure he held on to it as the drizzle starts to intensify at St James's Park. And he's banged the post, and he's gone down. And referee
Do you know
Jared
what?
Gillett
The last couple of pieces of goalkeeper, excellent. To take his team away from the pressure, the one before from the cross, and then that one under pressure, right underneath it. He takes it really well, and there's a little touch. There's hardly anything towards any contact. When we get another look, you can see the back post, and it was... I'm just looking, was it Rodgers' own play? And he hardly touches the post. It's hideous. It's embarrassing. I just don't know. Really good play what he's just done. And to be honest, I think if you're Newcastle, you've got to stop him catching that comfortably. You've got to get someone to stop him stepping back.
Well, he's up to his feet and he is okay, Emi Martinez. As Aston Villa pick up the ball on the edge of the Newcastle penalty area. Here's Maatsen getting forward, tries to dink it through. Bailey can't get his shot away on the edge of the 6-yard box, and Newcastle will run it clear with Kieran Trippier. Up to Elanga. Was he caught there by Lucadinha? Is that a yellow card?
Was he caught? I think he was caught, yeah. Slightly high and slightly late. And the pace of him was quick. You just knew that if I'm the left back as well, I'm thinking, oh no, I'm too short here. I've got to make sure it's on the other side of the halfway line. I've mistimed this and he cannot get the other side of him. I'm going to take it now. Is it too early? Because the next one I'm going to go, give me the ball. I'm going to push him all the way back and put the pressure on.
Yep, yellow card for Lucadinha. Newcastle through to Nali with the free kick on halfway. 11 minutes plus added time to play. And they still trail Aston Villa by a goal to nil as Martinez comes and claims that easily. He's going to launch it forwards, looking for the run through the centre of Ollie Watkins. Pope has come, but that bounce hasn't helped him. And in the end, Pope does well to steer it out of play for a throw. And Villa, I think, are going to take this quickly. And they have done, and it's Leon Bailey into the area. He goes, he tried to get it to Morgan Rogers. Neither of them can hold on to possession. Then Tonali goes down. Jared Gillett's going to let play go on. Bailey's won it. Tonali's still down. Both of them might have fouled each other there. So Jared Gillett's let play continue. Watkins has it on the right hand side as Cash works it once more to Watkins. Tonali up to his knees, but Rogers has it now as Tonali hobbles to try and make the challenge, laid off by Bailey. Rogers to Maatsen, can't work room for the shot initially, so pulls it back to Rogers. It is so congested that he's bundled over by Tonali. It's a free kick to Newcastle. Let's head to Tynecastle. Hearts against Celtic. Kenny Crawford.
3 minutes gone, still Hearts 0, Celtic 1, but the host should have been level. Alexandros Kizaridis scampered clean through after a mistake by Austin Trusty with just Kasper Schmeichel to beat, but the Danes' boot sent the ball wide. Hearts 0, Celtic 1.
So Villa with a free kick, 25 yards out, just level with the left of the D. Michael Brown, what are we making of all that?
Do you know what the referee said? Just get on with it. Tonali's on the floor, and I knew he was going to react because he felt like there was a free kick coming his way. There was a coming together as Bailey sort of falls on him, a bit of it, this and that from both of them, and he charges across right outside the penalty area, just to the left-hand side, and you're waiting for him, aren't you? You're waiting for the contact. You know he's agitated. You know he's irate. Gives the foul. Stupid. What a position here. They've just moved it back, haven't they, slightly towards centre. Just about 25 yards out. Maatsen just saying, right, here we go. Mings in the wall, blocking the goalkeeper's line. Can this be the ending? Can this be the quality that Villa see off the game?
Well, Maatsen's there, but it's Morgan Rogers who is taking charge. He's stepping back. Mings is now complaining about the wall. So referee Jared Gillett...
They've creeped up, and he's right. Mings said, you know what, I'm not having this. And it does, you know... They're arguing over it. Villa asking questions and saying, where's the spray? It's disappeared. The rain's got rid of the spray. I think you might have to mark this one back out again.
The rain's going to get rid of our commentary notes in a sec. But Morgan Rogers still waits as the wall is readjusted by referee Jared Gillett, and Mings is happy now. So, big moment this. Can Villa double their advances? It's Rogers. It's straight into the arms of Nick Pope. It was up and over the wall. It was a decent try, but Pope was there and Pope watched it all the way. And Villa's lead stays at a goal to nil as Elanga springs forward for Newcastle, but then can't squeeze it through to the onrushing Harvey Barnes. Villa have given it away, though. They've become sloppy at times in this second half, but Newcastle can't retain it either. And Nana plays it forward. Bailey could have gone down there, then runs into Tonali. He gets it almost taken away from him by Rogers. Tonali retains possession, stabs it back to Hall. It feels like a cup tie almost, Michael Brown.
Got a little bit of spice as well in the middle, a few of them after each other. It's going to be good this last 10 minutes, I can feel it.
So here come Newcastle, and here comes the rain on Tyneside. Can't reach for the umbrella. We tested it earlier and it does block the view of people behind us. What a sad thing. So Newcastle in possession, just inside their own half. Here is Malik Chow. 8 minutes plus added time to play. Here's Botman now. The lead for Aston Villa remains slender as they look to win in the league here for the first time since 2005 and move level on points again with Manchester City. But it's their former man, Jacob Ramsey, coming forward. Now Elanga feeds Miley, edge of the area, right-hand side. He's got Maatsen there with him. Pulls it back to Elanga, who plays the ball in. It's cleared away by Tyrone Mings and flags up anyway for offside on the far side. And that will be a free kick to Aston Villa inside their own penalty area. And Newcastle are preparing a change. Tonali's coming off and Joe Willock's coming on. Well, I was going to say, he took that knock, didn't he, when he felt he should have had a free kick, but he looks to be moving all right. Tonali, he's replaced by Willock.
Do you know the danger when he's darting around like he is and we get himself into trouble? I think that's the one. He's getting so frustrated. He probably thinks, right, end to end, when he's not exactly in the right frame of mind, let's take him off, let's try something different. Big header, wasn't it, from Mings? That ball in, there wasn't offside on the back post as Elanga just tried to flick it over there with that delivery.
So Emi Martinez sends the ball over halfway. It's headed away by Lewis Miley. Barnes, they'll play it off Amadou and Nana, who roars in frustration as that ball goes out of play for a Newcastle throw. Michael Brown.
And Nana's done well, some big challenges, some late tackles. He's tried to link and get in. There's another one. He's at that one round the corner, like an outstretched leg that he flicks as people are getting away from him. That long leg just comes and take you, think you're away, but you can't actually get away from him. As Villa decide to go long, put the pressure on his end-to-end now.
Yeah, Martinez launches it forward in that header from Hall, just back to Pope. Goal at Brentford, James Gregg.
And it comes for the away side. Brentford 0, Nottingham Forest 2. It was incredible work from Tayo Awoniyi down the right-hand side. He dragged 3 Brentford shirts with him. He decided to go it alone, and he slotted it beautifully past Queevy Kelleher. The away fans' corner into raptures. Sean Dyche delighted. Brentford 0, Forest 2.
What a huge win that could be for Forest. Commentary continues on Sports Extra 2. Here, Newcastle still trail Aston Villa by a 0-0, and they're coming forward down the right-hand side, Newcastle. Scooped forward by Kieran Trippier, looking for the substitute, Joe Willock, who just allowed that to bounce. So did Tyrone Mings as well. And the decision that's been given by the referee is goal kick. Well, the Newcastle fans behind the goal were appealing for it, but it will be a goal kick to Aston Villa. Back to Selhurst Park, Aaron Paul.
100 appearances to Crystal Palace and a goal back for Crystal Palace. Chris Richards has nodded them back into this one. It may be too late, but it's 10-man Palace 1, Chelsea 3.
So commentary continues over on Sports Extra. All the drama across 5 Live and Sports Extra for you this afternoon. We've got Arsenal against Manchester United coming up as well. Here at St James's Park with 5 minutes to play. Newcastle 0, Aston Villa 1 as Emi Martinez sends the ball over halfway. It's headed forward by Malik Chow, helped on by Luca Digne and flicked on now by Morgan Rogers, and Botman will shepherd that all the way back to Nick Pope, who thought about bowling that out overarm but instead rolls it underarm to Sven Botman, and Newcastle will build again. Michael Brown.
Yeah, Villa staying up, they're trying to squeeze it. It's a fine line, so if there's no pressure on it, I'm just literally trying to get Lewis Miley. If I'm him, I'm trying to just get turned round, stick it into Elanga wherever I can, get him turned around. Here he is now, make the pass. Can you do it? He's under pressure. Rogers stops that supply line straight away. Poor pass.
It's a poor pass, and it's played Ollie Watkins in here. Botman is recovering. Watkins is going to drive. Brilliant save by Nick Pope. Watkins letting fly from 25 yards. It was a super hit, and Pope, big outstretched hand to his right, flew across to tip that shot behind for a Villa corner. That was almost the 3 points wrapped up for Aston Villa.
Yeah, Lewis Hall just doesn't really realise where he's gone, but it goes straight to Watkins. He drives centrally, 25 yards out. There's then 2 Newcastle players near him. He hits it, and it's darting towards that top right of Nick Pope, and dives full stretch right towards the top corner. It's a great punch as he gets high fives from all his teammates. Special save.
We've seen some really good stops at both ends from both Pope and Martinez. It's Villa who still lead by a 0-0, and Luca Digne over on that far side is just taking his time over this corner. They have sent the players forward, Villa. One of them's Mings, and they're trying to win that ball in the area, and Nana was up there. It's cleared away by Newcastle. Villa will win the header, and Newcastle are so deep trying to defend it. Morgan Rogers sends it out. Lovely ball to the left-hand side once again as Digne plays the ball in. Watkins is there, and Watkins has surely won it for Villa. That was the second goal they needed, and for the first time since 2005, Aston Villa are going to win in the league at St James's Park, and they're going to keep the pressure very much on Manchester City and Arsenal. Newcastle 0, Aston Villa 2.
I said these players won't be fazed about the record for a long time coming here to St James's Park. Well, you make substitutions, you try and attack, you put it into good areas. They just couldn't clear it, could they? Villa just smothered the edge of the area and they just kept it coming. Luca Digne, I said about the quality of that delivery he's got. He puts it right into that 6-yard area. Watkins has missed a few. He can't believe his luck, heads it down, directs it off Pope, it just bounces on the ground into the back of the net, and that should be game done for Aston Villa.
And Aston Villa are going to make a change in the wake of that goal. It's Lindelof coming on, it's Amadou Onana coming off, and he's had an outstanding game, Amadou Onana. I've not seen an injury that he's picked up. He's recently back from injury. Is this as much about the fact that Tielemans has gone off and they've got to protect their central midfielder a little bit?
Well, you can, but you know, it depends what he does now. Does Lindelof, where does he go? Does he drop into the base of midfield? Does he go, I'll go into centre half and keep 3 of them? Let's get a look now. Well, he's going to, there's what answer. He's going to just go in next, just in the middle of the pitch, and he central midfield at the base. Just have a little feel for it, not go too far now. He doesn't need to. But there it was, Newcastle opened up, and I said the counter-attack's always dangerous with this side, the quality that Aston Villa have.
Well, it is a call from Unai Emery. He clearly feels with this 2-goal cushion they can see it out, having taken one of their best players, Onana, off. Here's Harvey Barnes as Newcastle look to hit back. Just outside the penalty area, it's a great run from Barnes, might open up for the shot, it's blocked away by Tyrone Mings, headed away further up towards halfway by Ezri Konsa. They're appealing for the free kick, Villa, it's not going to happen. Konsa pressuring Voltemada, who retains possession 25 yards out, central position as we enter the final minute of normal time. Newcastle 0, Aston Villa 2. Here's Lewis Miley, pings the ball out to the right hand side, and Kieran Trippier forward now to Anthony Elanga. Pulls it back to Trippier once more, and in field to Malik Chow, but it's the Villa contingent high up in the stands away to our left who are cheering and are singing because their side are heading level on points once more with Manchester City and 4 points behind leaders Arsenal ahead of their game with Manchester United. Commentary coming up with John Murray and Matt Upson on 5 Live as Newcastle lose possession, but Leon Bailey can't retain it for Villa, and here goes Jacob Ramsey in field now to Lewis Miley, pings the ball out to the right hand side. 8 minutes of added time as the ball's into the area, cleared away by Konsa. Elanga with the miscue, they're appealing for a handball, Aston Villa and Newcastle as well, but not given. Emi Martinez has the ball. 8 minutes at a time, Newcastle 0, Aston Villa 2. There is time.
This time anything can happen. Emi Martinez smashes it up the field and Watkins get after it. No, it just goes out right in that top corner. He's not bothered. It's exactly where they want them, but yeah, there's a long time to go here.
Let's head to Tynecastle for half-time. Hearts against Celtic. Kenny Crawford.
Half-time score, Hearts 0, Celtic 1. Benjamin Negron's 13th goal of the season, a brilliant 20-yard free kick in the 7th minute. The difference between the sides, and as it stands, Hearts' lead at the top is being reduced to 3 points. Hearts 0, Celtic 1.
So in the Premier League, it's Crystal Palace 1, Chelsea 3, Palace down to 10. Nottingham Forest lead Brentford by 2 goals to 0. As Emi Martinez very calmly comes out of his goal to deny Anthony Elanga and spread the ball out to Luca Digne, who plays it back to Emi Martinez. Elanga closing him down. Oh, that was a little bit short from Martinez to Konsa on the edge of the box. They've got away with it, Villa, and Luca Digne will bring it down the left-hand side. Villa leading by 2 goals to 0. Ollie Watkins looks to have wrapped up a precious victory for Unai Emery's men. On the halfway line, Villa have it and steer it back to Ezri Konsa. And out to the right-hand side they go once more, and Matty Cash as Villa again just slow the play down and roll it back to Emi Martinez. And Emery on the touchline is animated. He was fuming after they lost last time out in the league to Everton, said we're not contenders to be in the top 5. Before this game he changed his mind and said they are. Of course they are, we all know it. But this will be a hugely, hugely important victory at a ground where they have endured some horror shows in recent years. And going back further as Elanga wins the free kick over on the far side for Newcastle, and the yellow card
Maatsen
is brandished in the direction of Ian Maatsen.
Yeah, Elanga, easy one. He just sort of puts his hand on his shoulder, just rolls round, makes sure he gets it. But, you know, he just sort of look as well, the extra day, you know, from the European game as well for Villa. That's why they started quick, Newcastle, tried to put him on the back foot. but they dealt with it, didn't they? The great quality of a goal. They changed everything. The momentum, the belief. The long ball for Newcastle.
Towards Voltemada, cleared away acrobatically by Mings. It will come all the way back to Kieran Trippier, 25 yards out, swings it in again. Botman's there, but it's a poor delivery. Emi Martinez ends up in the net, but the ball does not. It's a Villa goal kick. Half-time, Rangers Dundee. Martin Dowden.
Rangers 0, Dundee 0. It's been a real feature for Rangers. Despite 5 league wins in a row, they can be a hard watch at times. Badly blunt, lacking urgency against a side holding their own. The home crowd getting increasingly restless. Half-time 0-0 at Ibrox.
And some of the home crowd here at St James's Park are making for the exits. There are still 5 minutes of added time to play, but that late Ollie Watkins goal that has doubled Villa's advantage to 2-0 has really knocked the winds out of Newcastle's sails. And you mentioned the extra day that Newcastle had to prepare. Villa, of course, travelling back from Turkey as well, you know, long trip, but they have played well today, Unai Emery's men. As Newcastle play that ball forward, Willock's offside, and it will eventually roll through to Emi Martinez as Voltemada closes down, and again the rain begins to fall more heavily. The conditions are not easy. Newcastle can get the ball outside the area and maybe just try their luck. Emi Martinez, who has managed to deflect and save pretty much everything today. Not pleasant conditions for a goalkeeper, and there is still time for Newcastle. 4 minutes of it, but they've got to be quick. They've got to get it forward. Here's Elanga, lays it off to Lewis Miley, forward to Elanga once more, and here's Voltemada trying to feed Elanga once again. Tyrone Mings gets there, and Harvey Barnes on the stretch just about controls that with his head. Out to the left-hand side he goes. Leon Bailey's there, stabbed away on the edge of the box for Aston Villa by Victor Lindelof, and Miley will work it forward once again. Here's Barnes, he's got Hall on the overlap if he wants to use him, goes in field instead. He's gone for the curler, he's hit his own player, Voltemada. And I think the belief around St James's Park is ebbing away as that goes out of play for an Aston Villa goal kick. Villa lead 2-0, Michael Brown.
Sort of summed it up, didn't it? As he drives inside, he's tried, hasn't he? To be honest, Barnes tried to get that curling cross round towards that top corner. Didn't catch it there. Hit the back of Voltemada and then away. Eddie Howe just turns round to the technical area and his staff and realised that this game has gone away. They just haven't found that quality. They've showed some signs. It hasn't been a terrible performance from Newcastle. It's just, when you look that game, that goal initially with that quality, wonderful, changed things. A couple of good saves from goalkeepers all around, and Villa
the slip there from Lewis Hall could be costly. Very good sliding challenge from Sven Botman as Morgan Rogers burst forward, gone out of play for a Villa throw. And worth mentioning as well, Bruno Guimaraes, their captain, not available today. He's such a big player for them, missing with an ankle injury. And in the end, Aston Villa have come and done what they haven't been able to do for the last 17 league games here. They found a way to win, unless Newcastle can produce the latest of late shows, but the ball is not where they want it. It's down by their corner flag. They have won a goal kick, but we've got 2.5 minutes of added time to play, and Aston Villa still lead by 2-0. Here is Joe Willock under pressure. Villa hassling, Villa harrying. They're seeing out these 3 points as Lindelof gets there ahead of Jacob Ramsey, the former Villa man, and Leon Bailey has it now. Right hand side, he's got the option to go to the corner. Is he going to do it? Well, he's going to just try and retain possession at the moment, and he does well. Good hold up play. Pulls it back to Matty Cash. Now in field to Morgan Rogers, and Villa are spraying the ball around, just like the rain is spraying around St James's Park at the moment. They're playing with confidence, they're playing with composure, they're in control. And Morgan Rogers has it now. He's down by the corner flag. No rush to play it in because they know this is all they need to do, Villa. As Lindelof stabs it in field, and Matson trying to get the shot away inside the area, goes down. Is that a penalty? Referee Jared Gillett says no. Michael Brown waves his hand in a 50-50. VAR will have a check. Newcastle for now bring the ball away. They've still got Willock down inside their own area as Matson gets up to his feet. He's out of position as Newcastle bring it forward. Touched by Elanga is a little loose, in concert should be able to clear this. He's shepherding the ball away and chips it back to Matty Cash, and they really have played their way out well under pressure. Lovely touch in field there by Ollie Watkins, whose goal looks to have wrapped this up for Villa as Lamar Bogard now brings it forward over the halfway line. Willock and Matson both back up to their feet as Villa come down the left hand side. Here's Luca Digne. We're into the final minute of added time. It's Villa who are going to take the 3 points away from St James's Park. It's Villa who are going to move level on points once again with Manchester City, and 4 points behind leaders Arsenal, who play Manchester United at the Emirates. Commentary coming up from 4:30 here on 5 Live as Lindelof has it for Aston Villa. They are seeing this game out quite superbly, Michael Brown.
Really good. Cool, composed. Just seen a ridiculous nutmeg from Ollie Watkins. Please, Lewis Miley, the next one he'll get tight, and you can imagine. But yeah, bit of class. They realise they've done. It showed you how good the players are that Villa have got. I think you've got to feel sorry for Eddie Howe, the amount of players that Newcastle are missing. Yes, people will say Villa are missing 2 big players in the middle of the pitch. Well, Newcastle more, but it's been a classic away performance from Aston Villa. They've stuck in, they've defended when they've needed to, and they've jumped out from that press, and they've got some lovely footballers. Newcastle have just been frustrated all afternoon.
They're working it forward down the right-hand side, but the added time is up. There is not enough time for Newcastle now to turn this around as the final whistle goes. For the first time since 2005, nearly 21 years ago, Aston Villa win in the league at St James's Park, and what a precious 3 points this is. They're back level with City. They keep up the pressure on Arsenal. Newcastle's 8-match unbeaten run here in the league is over. They have lost to Aston Villa by 2-0. Michael Brown.
Yeah, big away performance. The real quality of the first goal, it's obviously changed things, and both sides had opportunities, as we mentioned. Some good quality saves from the goalkeepers. We've seen Pope right towards the end pick one out. This was a special one to remember, that's for certain, in regards to saves. But you're just looking at Villa, when they counter, they look like they had that quality. A little bit different to Newcastle, where theirs was more direct. We work it, we get in behind, we cross, and then we see what happens from there. Then Villa defended the box really well. But you're looking at Villa going forward, those little interlinks, the play, Rodgers, sensational. Wally Watkins probably could have got a couple. A little bit of Springer Bailey when he came on, and you just felt overall the quality outshone today in their performance, and you can see they're the team towards the top of the Premier League.
Well, he said coming into this game, Unai Emery, it has been a horrible last few years at St James's Park, but he has a smile on his face now because his Aston Villa side are victorious. They have won here courtesy of goals from Buendia and Watkins by 2-0.